Hello and welcome to Evolution of the WAD. Each week discusses a new topic in which we delve into the history, the legacy, and the content of Doom mapping. Although, as you can see on the screen, we're actually going to be looking at Hexen this time. I'm Captain Clever, and I will mostly be guiding us through this episode by means of playing through a number of maps which epitomize the theme of this very episode we're playing and doing right now. With me, I have M-Trop.
What's up, everybody? Matt Tropiano's here. Been in the Doom community a long time. I make a whole lot of stuff. You probably played a couple of things I made. Heck, you know what? Why don't you just watch episode 3 of Evolution of the WAD? That'll get you totally acquainted. And the beer of the evening is Jersey Summer Breakfast Ale from the Cricket Hill Brewery in Fairfield, New Jersey.
Most excellent. We also have Rock King.
Howdy, I'm Rock King, and I entered the community around 2003, mostly in the competitive multiplayer side. Later on, I got more involved with making single-player maps in the single-player community, and mostly known for WADs like Double Impact, Dynamite Deathmatch, UDMX, and stuff like that. And now I'm here.
Great. And we also have Tarnsman.
I am Tarnsman, and every time we do this and Captain Clever asks us to be quiet at the start so we can do the intro, I always feel like grabbing an air horn and just honking it right into the mic.
And every time, I am so glad that you don't. And with us...
It takes a lot of willpower to not do that.
I am most appreciative. And with us, we have, in addition, Kaiser.
Hello, I am Kaiser, and I've been part of the Doom community since late 2000s, and I've done a pretty good number of Doom WADs, and as well as non-Doom related, non-mapping related stuff such as Doom 64 EX and Strife Veteran Edition. So yeah.
And we're most happy to have you here. In fact, he made the very last map that we'll be looking into this evening. So, and the episode topic is Hexen-style hub maps. And let's just get started. I'm just running a demo right now, but let's get into the episode proper with a little bit of the original Hexen, which, don't worry guys, I will make sure that this shows up for you and we don't screw anything else up. Perfect. Okay. So we're playing maids because we already decided that last time. And this is what Hexen is.
What are you talking about? We never have technical problems and have to like.
I'm pretty sure every episode has had a technical problem here or there. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
So Hexen.
Okay. Hexen. Okay.
Hexen was, I'll just give it a brief introduction. Hexen was created in 1995, I believe rather late 1995, by Raven Software, who had also made Heretic, and a lot of people would consider this generally the more well-received of the two games. And it involved a very different style, whereas Heretic was basically fantasy Doom, and in some ways just wasn't as long-lasting as Doom did, which is why you see, 1,000 times more maps for Doom than Heretic. Hexen took a completely different approach and involved classes and more of an adventure style rather than the action style that Doom kind of goes with. And I think a lot of people tend to appreciate it more in the long term and as far as history is concerned. Though, of course, there are also very few maps for Hexen as well. Though that tends to be more due to its incredible complication in making the maps, especially in vanilla, as opposed to in Doom, where you can just kind of pick it up and go. So yeah, that's probably the best way to talk Hexen. Anybody else has comments?
I mean, when you map for Hexen, or when, because Hexen was new, and it had all these additional stuff in it, like scripting and a bunch of other cool stuff, like poly objects, which are you've seen those swinging doors in the beginning there. I feel like the additional amount of features and stuff that it brought to the Doom engine were kind of overwhelming, especially since it kind of changed up how things activate in the engine, how things work. So I think it was a struggle for most people to make new stuff in, which we'll see later. But like, in terms of just bringing new stuff to the engine, it kind of was I'd say like the last hurrah of the Doom engine in terms of technology and 3D stuff. So yeah, I mean, it needed like a 486. Oh yeah, like it also needed like a friggin' like 486 to run, which is like a little bit more beefy than your standard thoroughfare that people had around the time. Well, actually, I think most people had 486s by then. But like, yeah, it needed more memory. It needed more stuff to work.
I just skipped the whole section. With the classes, with the way the classes work, the first two classes actually have a melee weapon to start, so they have to do a bunch of other stuff. But with the mage, who has a ranged attack, you can just smack that bell, which is the trigger for one of the areas. So this is the proper first hub, and we should probably start talking now about hub maps in general and what it means to kind of be more of a Hexen-style hub map. This is 7 portals. This is the very first hub of Hexen, and I would argue that it's probably the coolest, but you know, that's not necessarily a popular opinion.
Oh yeah, so as I was going to say, in an alternate timeline, that I actually feel like this is like Captain Clever says, like this is probably the best one, like the best hub in the game, but I feel like it's the weakest one just because from how I see it, it gives me the feeling that this is like the hub they made first, and
It's like
instead
the
of like
ground.
yeah, exactly. Instead of going back and like once they had more experience, going back and remaking like the first levels, like I think it was John Romero said that like you always want to make the first level last because you put all you've learned making the other levels into the first level, and so you make a really good level, like good first level. And so I feel like they didn't do that with this hub, and I feel like they probably should have just replaced it.
It sucks.
I don't mind it. I've only played 2 of the Hexen hubs because I just stopped playing Hexen for some reason, even though I don't know why I enjoyed playing it. Anyways, to talk about Hexen hubs, when we talk about Hexen mapping, we kind of give it this weird position where we like say Hexen maps are different because they're these hub maps, but for all intents and purposes, they're really not. In fact, you could like recreate a Hexen hub in Vanilla Doom. Well, maybe not Vanilla Doom because you'd hit some limits, but in Doom itself, like without Z-Doom features, you could create a Hexen hub with teleporters. In fact, a great example of a map that does the sort of Hexen hub where you go to different locations and stuff would be, I think it's map 16 of Ancient Aliens, the one where you keep getting in the UFO and you go to all these different worlds in the UFO. For all intents and purposes, that's basically a Hexen hub. Like, so I don't think Hexen truly deserves. That's an excellent crusher. I don't think Hexen truly deserves to have its hubs given this sort of like elevated status, because they're really just maps. They're you know, when you finish a hub, you leave it. Like, you never go from hub 2 back to hub 1 or anything like that. So it's not like a truly open world game. And you know, there were plenty of RPGs in the time when Hexen came out that did that, to where I don't think you could say, well, Hexen didn't have the technology. Well, it probably didn't.
It did not have the technical capability to make everything like all in one.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
But that had existed. Like, there were plenty of RPGs that did that. Granted, they were they were
not on the Doom engine.
Yeah, not on the Doom engine. They were completely different types of games, but the concept of a totally interconnected world had existed for some time. So it's one of those things where Hexen is just Doom, as far as I'm concerned, in terms of like a single player level. Like, it's a level. You play a hub like you play any other like level from that type of era, like Doom, Descent, Quake, whatever. That's how it is. Quake 2, I know Quake 2 used a lot of the same like interconnected, where you go to one level and then you go back to another level, but I think Quake 2 was the same way, where like you couldn't go from the end of the game all the way back to the start of the game like at will.
Right, yeah. Like, it's still sectioned off of what you could, go to.
Right. That's an excellent crusher death or fall death.
That's a
But
fall death. There was falling damage in Hexen. So like, I mean, yeah, it's a nice way to compartmentalize everything, because if it's like completely open world, then you could, design-wise, you could do like some really dick moves, like put something you really need like really far back in the game, and like it feels like Hexen's gameplay is more Myst-ish than like Doomy or like Heretic or whatever, because like this is still like action RPG,
yeah,
kind
absolutely.
of D&D-ish slightly. Like I mean D&D in just setting and classes alone, but like it's
setting
it's
classes,
still...
and also Hexen has a lot more like force secrets, puzzle progression, that stuff, and that's fine. And like, I'm not saying that Hexen is Doom. Hexen of the Doom clones of Heretic and Hexen,
It's the least Doom,
yeah. So that's fine. I love this. This is like a really cool level area, especially with those lights like that. But it's weird because that's the part of Hexen that never like really gets like touched on. Like when you feel like Hexen, they're always called Hexen hubs. They're like it's like it's a Hexen map. Like that's probably the one thing that's most similar to Doom in terms of having a linear sometimes they're not linear, but a self-contained map, and they're linear in the sense that you go from map 1 to map 2 to map 3 to map 4.
We're talking about like gameplay here, and then here was Captain Clever just plinking away at a centaur.
Beautiful. Just
wand.
beautiful.
Centaurs are easily the absolute worst enemy in this game. I hate them. Like, at least the Slaughtors will shoot shit at you, and you can still shoot at them while they're doing that. This is fucking terrible.
And they were so good, they got put into knee deep in Z-Doom, which was a great idea.
God. Oh man, when will we ever talk about knee deep in Z-Doom? Jesus.
Well, we'll have to at some point.
Oh god.
But anyway,
yeah.
what makes Hexen kind of special is that, aside from just being simple Doom and being this hub map stuff, it also likes to do a lot of unorthodox puzzling. Not quite always switch hunts, though there are a lot of switch hunts. But they try to mix them up in ways that can be like relatively interesting, even if most of the time they end up kind of failing. And that's part of what makes the Hexen hub map slightly more unique than just calling it simply a hub map or a Hexen map. And that's what we're going to be looking into today. We're going to look at these first few hubs. Well, we're going to look at specifically hubs 1, 2, and 5, which I believe represent the core of the Hexen hub style. And then we'll be looking at a bunch of other maps and seeing how they kind of compare and contrast.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, we're skipping Hub 3, but Hub 3 kind of had like this Part 1, Part 2 thing in it. Like it had like maps that you were going to, like just 2 different maps, and then that like opened up into a 3-map hub. So it was like a half and half type of deal with the third hub, which was interesting.
Right. But the very first hub, this stupid elevator. Sometimes it sinks,
like...
sometimes it doesn't. I love it.
You have to cross a line when you...
Did I get it? Did I get it this time?
Yeah.
Oh, God, come on.
No, this elevator... You have to activate it from the other side. From the other side of the door.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah, it runs a different script when you do that.
Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Okay. But what I consider special about this very first hub is that it combines the hub and the rest of the maps in a very interwoven style. Because as you're completing various puzzles on these ancillary maps, I'm pretty sure I said that right. I always
Ancillary?
wonder if...
Is it ancillary or is it ancillary?
Tomato.
It's like one of those. Is there another I in that or not?
Whatever. Okay,
Aluminium?
bad word. We'll just call them peripheral maps. So
For the record, it's aluminum.
Yeah, it's fucking aluminum.
Aluminium.
You weirdos across the pond.
So the side maps kind of fit as you're solving puzzles in those side maps. It always keeps coming back to the original hub map. And eventually you just kind of finish things that way. And when you're trying to figure out what to do next, everything is quite self-contained. when you like go back to the hub, it tells you exactly what kind of happened on the hub. And when you do something for the hub map to a side map, it tells you this is what you got to do on the side map, and those parts are very
Right.
self-contained.
And that's kind of my point on why it's kind of incorrect to consider Hexen style of mapping to be a wholly unique thing, because for all intents and purposes, it's tricks and traps.
Right, you can do the very same thing
Yeah.
in Doom. Did I? Yeah. Okay, this is
Also, let us talk about the concept of conveyance and how terrible it is in Hexen, or at least,
I think that's a
in this
feature.
hub. Like
I think
this
it's a
hub,
feature.
it's just like I pull like one of those switches, the one that's like the piece of like the wooden rod on a chain, and you pull it and you hear that sound. It's like, oh, one third or sixth of the puzzles have been solved, and it's just like, great, what?
What the hell does that mean?
What changed? What's different, So like you're just kind of like wondering what the hell that means. Like in later hubs, like in Shadowwood, you actually see some things like light up like around like the exit of the hub, and it's like, oh, if that did that thing, then maybe I'm on the right path. But like 7 portals, just it's like, well, is this supposed to open a door? Did I do something right? Did I do something wrong?
I think one of the reasons why 7 portals feels more mind-numbing, I guess would be the best word, than the other hubs, is that 7 portals is the thing we typically derive when we're like talking about a hub map. It is quite literally a hub. Like you have this central area with the doors, and that's your hub. Whereas, when we think about hubs in Doom or whatever, I think that's why we kind of get that bad taste in our mouths from 7 portals. Is
It's a little too quintessential. Basically.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, personally, it just doesn't feel like I was actually achieving anything. It's like it says one third of the puzzle has been solved, but there's really, well, I mean, what is that puzzle? There's no puzzle that I mean, there's basically, you have no idea of what you're trying to solve. While in as you said with Shadowwood and even the third hub, there's always there's something that you see that you have to visit all the other hubs for in order to unlock these areas, and it just feels like there's just nothing that you're looking forward to in the first hub. It's just, oh, I'm just going around shooting stuff, hitting switches, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and the level design like this right here, all these tight corridors, the level design on the first hub is a lot more indoor areas where you're just like hallway stuck for a lot of stuff. You don't have like the big open swamp or like the canyons or anything like that.
Or the castle.
I'm just glad they started out with Winnowing Hall. That was actually a good map.
Yeah, it was a good map.
Yeah, this, like, just 7 portals is like, this is like, okay, we made a hub, and then somebody said, this is crap, and then they left it in, and Shadowwood is basically, okay, we took the liner notes that we got from this and made something infinitely better, but you have to play through this hunk of crap to get to it.
And for some reason, I think the 4th hub also suffers that same problem. Because I thought that initially the whole hub would be based around this castle, and I was supposed to figure out what I have to do to unlock this secret. But then it turns out that the actual end of it is at some other level, and it didn't. I mean, a lot of things just felt very disjointed, and it kind of suffers the same problem with the first hub.
Yeah, I mean,
Which is
like,
why I don't want to go into it. Also.
Yeah. Hub 4 is like the first part, which was like the Castle of Grief. Is that what it was called? And then the second part is the Gibbet. But it's in kind of like it's a 2-part. It's a corset. It's a large on top. Then you go through the pinch, and then there's another wide bottom. Kind of, I don't know, or hourglass. That could have been a better image. Hourglass.
I feel like, at least in terms of modern Hexen mapping, which nobody ever does, but and Hexen is something that probably would benefit from like a more open world setup. There is a map, I don't know if he released it yet, by Eagergore, that's like this jungle map thing he had in beta test, where you could go to most of the map from the start, but things were like kind of gated by weapon progression. Like you just didn't have the firepower to go deal with certain parts of the map. And I think that something like that, like where the progression is kind of locked by that kind of stuff, would really help Hexen out a lot.
It's not done very often, I don't think.
So the way that the Hub 1, it keeps doing this sort of thing where you go back to the, like, I think at this point you would go back to the fire and steel places. Then they would unlock something over here, and then you would go back to the ice place, which would then unlock even more on the fire and steel side until you kind of finish up everything. But there is actually a speedrunning strat.
Yeah, fuck this hub up.
Because it's more of the same, and I just kind of wanted to get the idea of how the map, the progression plays out. You basically go very back and forth, as opposed to other cases, which we will be seeing in due time. So we don't even care about that one.
Yeah, that one's like, I think, a secret map thing. It's like, it was, one half of the, or like another third of the puzzle. Like, what? Shut up, man. Like, how done am I?
There are
Be more
secret maps in
specific.
Hexen.
Oh yes, the secret maps are probably one of the best parts of Hexen.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because the way that they do obtuse progression in Hexen, I mean, that's basically what secret finding is. So when you get around to actually doing it, as it turns out, I keep messing this up. It's a lot easier for the fighter. As it turns out, in order to access the,
You're not going high enough, dude.
Yeah. But well, you don't want to bump into that. In order to get to the second secret level, the secret level in the second hub, you have to beat the secret level in the first hub. And in order to get to the one in the fourth hub, you have to beat the one in the second hub. So,
Yeah.
it's very convoluted, but that's exactly what secret finders love. And, okay, so there we go. And that's that. You can do a bunch more to get access to the secret level here. We're not for that here. So we're just gonna finish it. Go straight on to hub 2. So whereas hub 1, you're kind of going back and forth, including the hub itself. As we'll see in hub 2. Oh, okay. Which one is it? Okay, I got him. Good. You only need to kill 2 of those guys. I actually speedrun this game, or I have speedrun this game before, so I've learned quite a bit about it. Anyway. So now on to Hub 2. The way that Hub 2 works is that you're able to go to all of the levels in any order you want. And the objective then is to kind of progress through each of those peripheral side levels until you finally solve the puzzle that brings you back to the hub itself. So this is Shadowwood, and a lot of people, I think a lot of people consider this their favorite.
Yeah, this is a pretty good hub.
Yeah.
It's got a good direction to it.
Yeah, it's got no frills, and it's like, you kind of build in your brain like an objective, list, because you'll always encounter a door that's locked, and it's like, I need this key. I wonder where I'm going to get this key, and then it's like, the only time you actually pull those like chain switches, and it plays that little chime and everything, is if you're actually doing something that's going to contribute finishing the hub.
Yeah, and that's like what helps, and the conveyance, going back to that.
It's always a conveyance issue with Hexen. Like, where you could, like, be a tiny bit more informative, because you could, like, print anything to the screen via scripting or something like that. It's just... like, there's just some... I think they just chose to be mysterious, because that's kind of like what gameplay was back in the 90s.
Best
like,
weapon.
Arc of Death. So you just basically had to, like the weird mystery, or just figuring out what things did, was gameplay back then, when there could have been some slightly better things that they could do. I don't know. That's my assessment.
Well, yeah, and in the last 20 years of Doom mapping, I think you can pull a lot of inspiration and a lot of understanding on how to make better Hexen maps, just in the way that people have made frickin' Citadel on the Edge of Eternity, or Mechadon maps and stuff like that. You can just say, let's make something more along the lines of this, but put it into Hexen.
Citadel, the Edge of Eternity, would actually be a really good Hexen map. I want to see somebody port that. Get on it.
Oh god.
I think it would be actually a really good Hexen map.
Let's see, which one do I want to go to? I guess I want to go to the swamp. I think the swamp's the coolest.
More like Citadel at the end of my patience. Bam. What up?
Nailed it. But yes, Arc of Death is awesome.
Yeah, Arc of Death is just the best.
It's really buggy, so we're playing in Z-Doom right now, but in Vanilla, it's pretty cool. Excuse me. In Vanilla, it messes up half the time and it just wastes your 5 mana. But
yeah,
in GZ-Doom, it's pretty cool. So this part, oh boy, platforming in Hexen. Yeah, in case you didn't realize it, I've been jumping all the time. That's not a Doom thing. That's a Hexen thing that they needed, because you needed that in order to make crazy platform.
Yeah. Without air control, like you couldn't change any direction in the air when you were jumping.
But yes, Hub 2, I think Hub 2 is probably my favorite in terms of its aesthetics, in terms of how it displays itself. But ultimately, I just always found the actual puzzle solving kind of bland. It didn't really feel any different from Doom itself. And even talking about the IWADs, it felt very similar to that sort of just running around, throwing switches and knowing where to go. Except you didn't know where to go, because frickin' Hexen loves to make everything mysterious.
This is a cool section right here. If you look at the water, it's kind of like a wave. That was another cool thing, like Hexen added, the floor waggle. Like a sinusoid, harmonic wiggle on like floors or ceilings.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent of early Z-Doom mapping.
Yeah, well, I mean, early Z-Doom mapping is like, oh god, we have this thing that has all of these features now that was basically taken from Hexen, because they used a lot of Hexen's code and whatever just to expand things. So, like, people are like, let's just fuck around with new features and everything. And you'll see exactly the same type of approach in early Hexen hubs that people have made. Because people just didn't know what the fuck. Half the time they were just experimenting for the most part.
One thing I kind of want to bring up, because it came into my mind as you picked up those fucking 12 discs of repulsion that are totally needed to be picked up, is, Hexen's an action RPG in the sense that there's classes and stuff and all that, and but one thing that always kind of stuck out to me is Doom is also kind of RPG-ish in the sense of how Doom's weapon progression, all that works out. Because if you really think about like how RPGs tend to function, you have your main weapon, right? And then you get through things with just various skills that have different applications. And when you talk about like Doom and how good its weapon balance it is, it's because Doom approaches its weapons like that. Like they're basically like an RPG skill. Like the chain gun has a use, the rocket launcher has a use, the super shotgun, all that has a use, blah blah blah. And one thing Hexen didn't do, which is kind of funny because it is the RPG, is actually give itself that balance. A lot of Hexen comes down to like you get the best thing and then you just use the best thing forever, and then your items basically are just health potions and flechettes, and you just let everything else accumulate 400 fucking items because you barely ever use them. Like, yeah, the Distant Repulsion has a use, but it's a use that's never really forced upon the player. Like,
yeah. I mean, like, even Porculator really should be useful, but you don't get very many of them, and you don't. There's like, you always want to save it for those big guys. That
it's
are
Megalixer.
Really, yeah, it is.
Also, yeah.
Hold on to it until you need it.
Kaiser brings up a good point about Doom being more RPG too. Doom has the quote-unquote random. I know it's not true RNG, but the RNG that I don't want to explain how it's not RNG because it takes too fucking long. But Doom also has that, so you have that like whole weapon damage variance and all that. Whereas here you are in Hexen. I think Hexen does have the like weapons are 8D whatever. I think think
It does have a
does
variance to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not very much, but it is there. Also, it has an armor class. Like, I still can't figure out how the hell that works.
It's complicated, and basically it just sucks. And it's not. It's Doom armor, but worse. So.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, those hints that just was provided. You hear a door open in the distance. It's like so very D&D, but like there was like no other way. I mean, I guess there should be other ways to like convey that, like even with audio. But I mean, the thing is, you know, say you're deaf, and you want to play this and whatever.
This is the door that opened.
Ah, yes.
I mean, there's better ways to do it.
The other side.
They could have tried to like integrate it more with the auto map. They could put a marker on your freaking auto map to say this is what happened.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That noise, no auto map, Quake style. Just the Switch did something. Go figure it out.
Yeah, Quake's auto map was just basically fuck it, no auto map, because it was like, okay, we're late in development. Fuck adding an auto map.
Look, I've used Descent's auto map. 3D auto maps are not fun.
Also, that's like a fucking mist-ish thing right there. You just destroy that like night because that switch was obscured by it. Oh my god.
I mean, it's a
at
tiny
least
room.
When you saw it, it's like a great aha moment.
Yeah, there is that.
It's
And that's
either
what
an
Hexen
aha
is full
moment.
of, frankly. So.
Yeah, it's either an aha moment or a fuck you moment.
Descent's 3D auto map is not good. Altazimuth. It's really. I mean,
For a
It's the
3D
best-
auto map, it's okay.
it's the best they
Yeah.
could come up with, but still, it's not fun to use.
Yeah, Descent is a good example of why 3D auto maps don't work.
Touche. Does this work yet? Come on. Oh, I'm used to there being these walls that you actually have to just like run into in Hexen, because they do that in a number of places. But that one you just press. Polyobjects, ladies and gentlemen.
But it's like that activation where it's like if you bump into a line. Basically, if like there's like a line and you clip you clip it, but you know you don't go through it, and something activates on that, it'll activate. But only if you say to activate on that. All the weird activation types were introduced in the Hexen extensions.
This friggin' part.
It's like all the line specials were all generalized, and then you added like the additional stuff to it, like how this door opens and stays open for this long and whatever. Like all the Z-Doom stuff came from Hexen.
Whether or not you get through this part is random. And it changes every single time you do it.
Are you serious?
I
Yeah,
am
it
dead
is.
serious.
Like there are some parts where it's just like fucking fuck this.
Also, it just randomly changes which path
Yeah,
is, like, the
that's what I
correct
mean,
one.
is that every time you attempt it, it randomly chooses a different one. I'm pretty sure.
Well, I mean, like,
I'll just keep trying
think-
this one.
I think it you're right that it randomly chooses, but only once.
Okay, well, my bad. I forget how it works. Let's try this one. Oh, it's not that one. Let's see if it's this one this time. Nope. What about this one? Okay, it was that. Okay. So anyway, we got the swamp key. And the way that the progression would work, and I think this works. Let me just... Nah, I lose everything. Let me do a change map then.
Yeah, change map
Change
is...
map 9 maybe? Yeah, okay. So, I just wanted to skip it, because then we would be backtracking to the hub map, and then we would go over here, and then... but the idea is that now that we have a swamp key, not only can we finish and grab the, I think this would be the cave key, because it's the cave level, Caves of Circe.
Caves of Circe.
We will also be able to open a swamp door in this level, which will contain a switch that solves the overall puzzle of the hub to complete the progression. And then similarly, when we would have 2 keys, then we can go to the third place, grab the third key, and then activate both points of progression in the wasteland level. I think is what it's called. It's the canyon.
Is there like just a puzzle switch you can flip just so we can see something like light up in in like that ending area in Shadowwood.
Oh yes. Okay, sure. Yeah, I think this is coming up on the swamp one. I'm not gonna show off the. Okay, that was Horn Key. Ah, friggin', where's the swamp? What? I'm just fine. We'll just pretend I had it.
Just type in like, what is it? Locksmith gives you all the keys.
Yeah, it does. I just cast it. But okay. So now we got a switch. 1/6 of the puzzle has been solved.
And it is
On
straight
the
up
shadow.
1/6. It's straight up like 1/6. It isn't like 1/6 and then 1/3 later. It's.
And then moving on, we go over here. And I'll just show it again, just to go over. But you can see this is the door we need to open. And because we pressed one of the switches in the cave level, it's lit up. So we actually know that we did progression, 1/2 of the progression in the caves area, and we still have 5 in total.
Yeah, it's lit, fam.
I was
That's
just about to say that.
If we were racing for it. I knew we were racing for the opportunity.
It is very lit, family.
Aha!
Oh,
All right, so let's
dare
just
say.
move quickly to the what map is it? There we go, Hub 5. Hub 5 is the final. I'd consider the final style that Hexen approaches, and basically it just says whatever, just do your levels in whatever order you want, and when you're done with them, you can just move on. And that's how Hub 5 approaches the final style. And it kind of plays the best, almost, because of it.
Yeah.
And it also has the most interesting puzzles. I don't know if it's because of it, but it tends to have, just on the individual level, I'm not
Yeah, instead of switches, you're basically acquiring like special items.
Right. In order to finish this, you have to collect these 3 items here, and that allows this to open up, which will take us to the final boss. And I'll just go to one of these levels to show it off. What do we want to show? Do we want to show off preschool puzzle? Let's show off preschool puzzle.
Is
That's a
Zedek?
nickname that we gave it. It's the fight. It's Zedek. Mage is probably my favorite, and I'll just warp to the level so we can show off that puzzle. But this is the other part of Hexen, is by having these really unorthodox styles of puzzle solving that happens in that doesn't happen in Doom, mostly because of like poly-object stuff, but also because Doom does try to just be straightforward. So. The 3 tombs here, this is really more of a gameplay-oriented hub in general, whereas a lot of them are switch hunts and stuff like that. This one just throws a ton of stuff at you, and you have to kill them all. Zedek's tomb just has all these centaurs, so it's objectively the worst. But you know, where is this?
that's some really fucking good directional lighting it's got going on.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty neat.
Doom does this. Heretic's first map does this. There's occasional moments in the IWADs where like they just whip out something that looks way better than everything else in the IWADs. Inmost Dens in Doom 2 is probably like the greatest example of it. The complexity of that map compared to everything else is pretty ridiculous. But also like Heretic has that really awesome opening room on map 1 with all that directional lighting, and it looks way better than the rest of Heretic. That ends up being a lot of like just barren, empty square rooms a lot of the time and shitty hallways.
I love shitty hallways.
Shitty hallways are the best.
Look at all these guys. So many of them.
Oh my
Is
god.
this map just all centaurs
That's
all
what I
the
said.
time?
Zedek's tomb is just nothing but friggin' slaughters everywhere.
What level is this? What hub?
This is the final hub, Hub 5.
Oh, okay.
The Necropolis. Anyway, so this is preschool puzzle. There are blocks
objects,
of particular shapes, and your objective is to match them in another way. So it's object permanence. It's the preschool puzzle.
Star Moon Moon.
And oh no, as soon as you start it, the ceiling is gonna crush you if you're not fast enough.
We are going to die here.
Like that
Star
poly
Moon
object
Moon.
clipping.
Bam.
Yeah, Star Moon.
And then that opens, and this stops. And that's one of them. I mean, that one's just kind of silly, but I just wanted to show off the boss battle here as well, and also how easily you can die to it, because these guys are using ultimate weapons. It's pretty great. This is what Quietus does to you. Come on, you were. This is what Quietus. There we go. Yeah. That's good.
Oh, is this something like you gotta fight yourself shit?
Nah, this is.
Oh, dang it.
You gotta fight. You gotta
But it's also
fight
really
the masters of each guild that were betrayed everybody.
Yeah, so basically you have to fight like one of each class, cleric, wizard, and fighter.
So, like you said, so you gotta fight yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Which one is it now? Yeah, this one.
Eventually,
I'm just going to show this one on the map because that's the solution. But the objective is to actually line up, and there's, well, I guess I'll show one area. Oh, right. You have to, see, this is right here. These are the symbols, and you got to find the right symbol, because if you don't, there's going to be ends, and that's not good.
Oh no, Ettins.
So the way that these switches work is that there's 4 switches of various circles, and the objective is, what does the room look like? What does the room look like? And then you press it and move on. I don't know. At least for an 8-year-old, that's kind of fun of a puzzle. That's what I like. So, yes. So
I mean, okay,
It's
you know,
interesting.
people harp on simple puzzles, but at some point, like, there's only so much you can do with a puzzle. It's not like you walk into a room, they hand you a piece of paper, and it's like, okay, you need to go through and fucking explain to me on like a quantum mechanic level how this works. Like, you can't do that in a video game. Like, it has to be something that, you know, you're not gonna expect fucking somebody to write you a thesis paper to get out of a room.
Captain Clever, are you implying that if somebody fails that puzzle, they are stupider than an 8-year-old?
No, well, no. But I was kind of smart for an 8-year-old. Anyway, so that is Hexen. At least the styles of Hexen in terms of the hub maps and how they went with progression. You have the interwoven stuff between the hub map and the side maps. You have kind of ignoring the hub map, except you have to go through and backtrack, and it's mostly done on the side maps to ultimately finish that area, where the side maps are interwoven with each other. And then you have, who cares about the hub map? The side maps are where you have to do everything, and when you finish there, you're done. So that's how Hexen basically took the approach. And so we're just going to very quickly look at Deathkings in... I'll just pick later. Oh, what map number is this going to be? 13? No.
It's a really shitty opening
14.
shot.
Alright.
Yeah, it kind of is.
So this is Hub 3, Knave. What great names. This one is great. So this gives you an idea of how ridiculous Deathkings is. Because the combat is, like, a lot more. Also, these guys randomly teleport in and will telefrag you, so that's cool.
Oh, you can be telefragged in Hex?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
That's good. I love that.
I mean, it doesn't happen in vanilla, but in Deathkings they made this opportunity possible in this map. So the way that this one works, this is mostly like a Hub 2 style. It kind of fits a little bit into Hexen 1. Deathkings sort of went with just a shotgun approach almost to the progression and how they chose to make it work out.
It's like spaghetti.
Is Deathkings like just straight up a like an expansion pack, or how does it?
Oh yeah.
Like, are there any new enemies or anything in Deathkings?
Nope, not at all.
No.
The Deathkings are like the Zedek and the Menelkir and introductions. It's the same guys you fight in Hub 5. So where do I go?
So there's not even a new boss.
Nope,
No.
not at all. Although the way you handle them is a little differently.
You know, when I was a kid, I was always so sorely disappointed whenever there was like an expansion pack and it didn't have like any new weapons or enemies or bosses or anything like that.
Oh, so you were disappointed in Doom 2?
Whoa, but wait, what are you talking about?
Oh yeah, John Romero's head. How could I forget?
Doom
The
2 had new
greatest
everything,
boss.
dude.
Yeah, it had like a new weapon. It had like a couple of new enemies.
Oh,
A
I
shit ton of new
guess.
textures.
Yeah.
More
What was
levels.
I thinking of? Oh, I was thinking of Final Doom. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That's
Doom.
what I didn't play much as a kid. Doom 2, I played the hell out of. Jeez. You'd think a show about Doom mapping, I'd remember.
All
Doom.
your credibility just went out the window.
Yeah.
That's why I have us, man.
I only play. I'm not the.
I don't know. Final Doom had Plutonia though, so it's forgiven for not having new shit.
It has even less new shit than normal expansion packs by ripping off the maps of the originals.
Yep. And I don't give a single fuck.
It was better for it, right?
Yeah, it was better for it. Like, it's that old adage that if you're good, you can get away with fucking anything.
So the progression works. You press a few switches and you work your way up to these portals. And there's 4 portals and you can take them in any order. And the way that when you get through it, like for instance this one right here. Oh, this one's pretty quick too. When you finish an area here, like for instance, I believe finishing the area involves killing the Heresy Arc. Oh man, great. Good times.
What the fuck is that thing?
It's one of the bosses. I apologize for spoiling so much of this if you ever come back to it. Basically ruining everything.
The Heresy Arc is one of the biggest asshole enemies on the
right now he's in
planet, simply
invincibility mode.
because of that shield.
Where is he? Crap, where'd he go? If you flechette spam him, you can kill him pretty fast, but I messed up.
Wasn't this guy supposed to be one of the original Serpent Riders?
Yeah.
Oh, if you look at the epilogue of Heretic, this is what shows up here.
Well, I mean, I think this was like Korax's like original design. Like, I mean, this guy is wearing the symbol of the Serpent Riders on his like, you know, on his
Aren't
chest.
the little
and-
mages too?
Yeah, the bishops. He's something. He's very much like Disparal, which makes it seem, and he, you know, he's like a red horned demon, which is what Eidolon ended up being. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know where Korax came from. Oh yeah, and his mana when it explodes, it hurts a lot. So, yeah.
So,
He
like-
turns into a Skelly Man.
Yeah. At some point, I think like Raven was like, "Look, we're just gonna if we make another heretic, this is gonna suck. So we gotta have something better."
Like a 6-armed
this.
skeleton giant.
I mean, like not just for like what is it? Like
Oh wait,
enemy
Hexen
design
is
or whatever.
is a sequel to Heretic.
well,
yeah.
technically, it's called Hexen Beyond Heretic, as a matter of fact.
Oh, is it?
So
I
in these
feel like I
levels,
knew that, and I just like totally forgot about it.
when you finish, or at least the first pass of these levels, you collect a gear. And when you get the gear, you then go back to the hub map, where you use that gear. Let's see. I think this works. This does not work. Let's, do I have... No, I don't. Whatever. You can get up there. I didn't just didn't feel it. Yada yada. I go through, right? Up the stairs, maybe? There we go. I think a portal shows up now, or this platform.
Heretic does have the. That's awesome. Heretic does have the same problem that, or Hexen, I should say, it does have the same problem.
Well,
Heretic
whatever.
had.
You get the idea. I just accidentally restarted the hub. Good job. But anyway, just to show the progression. What happens is when you finish that, there are actually these gear areas here. And you just find where the gear goes, and that corresponds to additional progression in another way. So you kind of play a little bit of like a clockwise rotation, because it's gears, and it's interwoven mostly with the side levels, but you do have to like figure out which one goes where. So like I said, it's a bit of a mishmash, and the other hubs are kind of the same way, collecting keys and using those keys to open up additional areas in the other levels. Going back to the hub to have to actually open that in the hub, stuff like that. So Deathkings mostly just rehashes a lot of what the hubs 1, 2, and 5 did of vanilla, and then just put in a shit ton of monsters to make it slightly more interesting. I mean, look at how many there are. There's like 150 monsters in this room.
Right, and that's what I was saying, is that Hexen has the same problem Heretic had, where enemies just have just too much health.
And not enough threat, pretty much.
It's an enemy goulash. It just turns into like a big enemy goulash at some point.
Every enemy is the Baron.
So I just wanted to show off Deathkings because it is. I would recommend playing through it once you're done with Hexen, and if you found yourself wanting more Hexen, these are appropriate expansion pack type maps.
What's Hexen 2 that's not Deathkings, right?
No, that's actually based on the Quake 1 engine. It's another completely different game.
Oh, cool.
Has 4 classes. It's amazing. All right.
A 5th one after the expansion pack.
Oh yes, right. The Demon S, I think.
Yeah.
That's a great class.
All right. What are we up to right now?
Now we're gonna play through we're gonna play through some of the quick map called Hub of Pain. So.
Yes. Hub of Pain, made by Colin Caird, who is actually one of the guys that made some of the maps in Deathkings.
Colin Curd?
Colin C-A-I-R-D. Caird.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Colin Cowherd?
So
But yes, this is the first of the P-WADs that we're going to be playing tonight, and it's different.
This one is like competently done, but it was also because the guy worked on, something that was going to be sold.
Right.
So
he spent a lot of time figuring it out.
Oh yeah. Like this is what somebody with a lot of experience did early on. Nice alignment.
So good.
Yeah, but like this is kind of like, it's like, all right, enough of those other schmucks I had to work with. This is me time.
That's fucking cool.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of what Hexen is. It's kind of fancy effects in addition to the hub stuff that we're talking about.
Grafzol would love that.
That's why you put everything of that into ZDoom, and that's.
Oh, Randy did that.
Well, yeah. Sorry. We'll talk about that in another episode, I'm sure. Getting into source port histories.
Console Wars.
Where is it now? I think from here I just go over to like.
Yeah, this beginning area is a little weird. It's like some doors opened, or it's like there's a switch down somewhere that like opens up. Like
now I
opened to the north.
Because we got the
Yeah.
The doors opened on the northern side of the Courtyard of Pain.
Well, see, there you go. Now it's more specific, actually naming an area and in a direction.
The Courtyard of Pain. Okay.
What's
So
a
I like
hub
the Fargo accent you threw on there.
Is that what that is?
I say, yeah, Courtyard of Pain over there.
Yeah, can we I would definitely listen to Doom as narrated by somebody with Minnesota Nice.
What is there to
The accent's
narrate?
not-
Just the intermission texts?
No, just like every action. Like
Oh. And then I swung this axe, and then I swung it again.
Yeah, I swung the axe and, his head came, it came clean off there, don't you know?
exactly.
But Hub of Pain, it intertwines some of the levels, but it mostly plays rather linearly. So it's actually something of a kind of individualistic approach to Hexen. Hold on, there's a switch here. That switch is hard to see.
Don't those floor pillars just utterly fuck you up if they hit you?
Oh, they do. They do. Quite nasty.
Right up the ass.
All dwarves should talk like they're from North Dakota. I could definitely get behind that fantasy set.
What would the elves be then? Finns?
No, it'd be way funnier if they spoke with like a Texan drawl.
Oh God, yes. Somebody give me the fucking Southern elves and North Dakotan dwarves. I want it right now.
Yeah, all these people have gold and stuff, and we oh boy, we love gold. Tell you what, have our Legolas come and assist you on that there quest you got.
So yeah, we just went to a side path in the same level to get a key to open this door right here, and now we're gonna do the same thing. I mean, this is very Doom-esque right here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it also feels very cramped. It's like there's not a whole lot of room to run around.
It's how you make Hexen. It's how you make Hexen gameplay ever so slightly interesting. Oh yeah, here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, the Dark Elves are from Boston. I can get behind that too.
The Dark Elves are from Boston. Bastion.
It's very reminiscent of the first hub in Hexen. Just 64 wide corridors all day, baby.
I like that that just movement trap, whatever that is, with the double walls and the lowering wall.
A lot of poly object going on here. Like Colin is kind of like really pimping the features. But I mean, like, here's the thing. This is competently done.
Right.
Because, you know, the guy has had experience in it. There's probably like, what is it? Coming up, there's like, you know, it's kind of half in, half out in a lot of ways.
This applies to Heretic more, but it also really applies to Hexen in terms of like PWADs and community mapping. Just the lack of resources, like textures, weapon packs, just all the stuff that gets made for like. There's just a distinct lack of that for Hexen and for Heretic, and those are the two places. Like, you definitely need new weapons and new everything. Like, there needs to be, when you're making PWAD stuff for these, there needs to be new shit, and there just isn't. Like, it's always the same fucking 12 textures, and it, you know, the Hexen and Heretic texture sets are really limited to begin with. So it just starts to get really, really noticeable. Like, I think I've seen 4 textures in this map.
I think Heretic's texture count was literally like 117 textures or something like that, like wall textures.
I think it's even smaller than that.
Yeah, because like that's like including all like little bitty like door tracks and stuff like that. Like actual usable wall textures is probably like only like 70 or 80 or something, maybe even less.
Yeah, and on top of that, a lot of their textures all pretty much look the same. I mean, you really couldn't do anything with those textures, but at least Hexen has a little bit more, at least their texture sets is a little bit more diverse.
Yeah,
it is a little bit more diverse, but it still runs into the same problem. Like, you got like 4 textures. You got, it doesn't have doesn't have the settings it needs to encourage more, like, oh hey, it's that guy. It doesn't have like, your settings are limited to metal, ice, rock, castle. Like, I think if there was an Asian level, or if there was like a weird crystal level, or if there was a Heretic bathroom tile set, I think that would definitely help it out to have a lot more diversity going on.
And just a note, because Tarzan was talking earlier about the idea of frickin' using the items given. This is a situation where if you don't use the item, and unless you're a really competent mage, you will need to use these discs of repulsion, because Traductus throws ghosts at you, and those things will just eat you alive. So what you do is you actually repel the ghosts back at him, and that eats him alive. So it's kind of a fun.
Oh, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's probably like the best use. Is there any like other good use of the disc besides that?
Well, it's also pretty satisfying to blow enemies off of high ledges and stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, there's a part in like the hub I made, which we'll see like later on here, in which I just give the player that specific opportunity. There's a disc, there's a dude, there's a cliff.
Go for it.
Yeah, I pretty much did the same thing in that hub I made. Whenever there's a cliff, I always put those things all around it so the player can use that opportunity.
The one thing that I don't think it's in Hexen, I think it's a Heretic only thing, the thing that teleports you back to the start of the level.
Chaos Device. That's in both games.
Oh, it is in both games? That's
Yeah.
one that I feel like you could get a lot of mileage out of that, but you'd have to like create specific setups.
Yeah.
I mean, what better place than a game that's all just specifically oriented around confusing and baffling the player?
Yeah.
So. Oh, where is it?
Like, how you access Hectic in Doom 64, and how you have to get back up to that ledge, and so you always want to blow up that barrel last, because the door is like a timed closed door. Something like that, except like you don't have that barrel there, so you have to like teleport back to the start of the level in order to get to it. Just things like that. I don't know how you convey that to the player, but I'm sure you could give the player enough opportunities to where it would start to make sense.
There's one way I used the chaos device in Elf Gets Pissed, where it was like the Minotaur level where there's the Minotaur spit roast going on, and so like I gave the players a few chaos devices, and why I gave it to them was like the really powerful ground flame. Well, like you can get trapped really easily, so it was like if the situation occurs where you get trapped by one ground flame and then another like is coming your way, you can use that to as like kind of like a mulligan, just get out of jail, free card. So I think that's like one cool way of using those things.
I think
Yeah, I
like an
appreciate it.
arena map where you have to like jump down into the arena from the start of the level, and then like you get X number of chaos devices, and like so you get so many chances to where like if you kind of like mess up with your corralling, you can start again. Like I think that'd be another place where you could do that. As long as like where the player start is literally like right next to where you're fighting. Like it's just the whole map is basically dead simple, but with more monsters and like a gated lock for the arena. Where the fuck do you use the Chaos Orb Heretic for Hexen?
I mean, you get it. Whether or not you use it's up to you, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm trying to think of, like where you could actually use it.
Oh,
There's
like,
also the
if you-
banishment device, which is a little more interesting in that it causes the enemy that you hit it with to teleport to the beginning of the level.
Yeah. If it's like, what is it? If you're in deathmatch, I think the chaos device just teleports you to a different deathmatch start, and the banishment device teleports a player away to another deathmatch start.
See, now the banishment device, that's fucking interesting.
Yeah. In the regular game, it just banishes monsters to the start of where you came in. So
Right.
it's like, yeah.
And that's really cool, and you maybe get 3 of them. It's... I mean... just talk about Megalixir syndrome there.
Yeah, like Hexen's inventory definitely, well, Heretics too, but like Heretic, if you have more than one, after each map, it will knock you down to 1.
With the exception of flechettes and health potions, right?
With the exception of
No,
let's
no
see, health
exception.
potion.
The exception
Oh, no,
is
no.
Wings of Wrath, which you can't ever take with you.
Right, yeah, because it breaks.
Oh,
maps.
really? I thought that it would. I thought
You
if
would think
uh,
that, but no, it's not even that nice.
Oh, you just lose your health potions? I thought you kept your health potions.
No.
Nah, like you only keep 1 in Heretic.
What a
Hexen, you keep like everything except like Wings of Wrath are always taken out, but in deathmatch it's a timed ability, and in single player and co-op you have it forever, I think, like, until the hub is done.
Almost done. Man, where is this final door? Here? Yeah. I think I missed a quietest piece.
Whatever.
But this is a short map at this point. So it just kind of goes back and forth a little bit, and then you just go to this final map right here, which is pretty quickie. And that's all it is. I mean, it's a fun... If you like Hexen gameplay, and who doesn't,
Have there been any monsters but enemies in this?
yeah, there's been centaurs, and
Stalkers.
stalkers, I think a few chaos serpents, afrits, or ephraits, or whatever. I'm just gonna get myself quietest. Come on, dude. Friggin' Korak's always taunting me. Ugh. Best final boss battle ever. Woo! Great.
Is that the final boss?
In this particular hub, it is, yes. It's hard. I think it's probably hard to make boss enemies in the Doom engine, or maybe just in action-y first-person
general.
shooters in general. I don't know,
Yeah.
but that's it.
I mean,
So.
they just have to be interesting somehow.
That's a,
Ah,
that's
I
a
love that title screen.
great title screen.
So now we have a much more conventional Hexen, and we're not going to be able to go through nearly all of it, but just to show off kind of the beginnings of it. This is kind of more in a Hub 2 style, although it does have a Hub 1 feel because you are constantly going back to Hub 1 to do progression. I guess I'll give it to Cleric, sure. And this
Is that
has
new
some like
textures?
kind of. It's actually using, I think, the same textures cleverly.
That like metal bar texture. I don't think I've seen that. It looks almost like a Doom texture.
Oh yeah, thanks for the weapon. And this. By the way, this is let me change the current map set so you can actually see it. This was made in I think 1997. Caldera.
Yeah, let me look it up. Yeah, by Chet Walters. This is made in June, finished in late June of 1997 by Chet Walters, aka WizWorks.
And he also made vaults. And if you like Hexen, these were made completely so that they would work in vanilla, and they're also really cool. I mean, this is making use of ghost monsters, and there's all these crazy animations and really freaky puzzles that you got to solve. In terms of fun, in terms of having a fun Hexen experience, this is quite nearly superior to the original Hexen, if not.
I like this skybox a lot.
Yeah, there's like some new
I definitely don't remember that purple rock.
Yeah,
there might
that's
be that's recolored,
new.
but it's new.
Although like some of the maps just feel like just weird layout wise or looks wise, because like now that you kind of have this additional engine, the mash enemies, all the ghosts. So like yeah, once you're kind of given a bigger like free reign in your engine, you start getting, people getting a little gutsy with features and not so much with map design, which is always concerning.
It is, but I mean this, this is the equivalent almost of like a, I don't know what you'd call it, maybe like a Memento Mori out of Hexen.
Kind of, I would say, yeah.
Because Hexen was about being gimmicky compared to Doom, and so what would you expect out of the first year or so, but even more of that?
I like this amphitheater.
I would argue that a lot of like these hub type of deals, yeah, you have to like lower that somehow to get it.
Man, I don't even know if you can get that one. There's another silver key you can get. I wonder if you can get that one. Man, I want that key.
So like, what is it? What the hell was I gonna say?
What we were talking about, like a comparison to Memento Mori.
Something like that. I don't know. I forget. I'll probably think of it later. Look at all these things.
But yeah, I mean, this is having a lot of fun, I think, with the Hexen engine. WizWorks is a very apt name for the guy. It's pretty dang cool. And then, Super Crusher, which I guess I didn't get to show off.
He also
That's
probably,
Super Crushers.
yeah. He also had like he probably like recorded like that new dialogue in the beginning and like threw it through like a bunch of like harmonizers and whatever to get that
filters.
Not quite Korak sound, but definitely close. Like yeah, so like these maps feel like they're all like kind of set pieces in some way, and very heavy on the scripting because, well, now you can do it. And questionable texture use in some places.
Yeah, but it adds that aesthetic charm that makes it stand out.
Oh yeah.
That's a very Hexen style right there. Love it. Love it. Oh, this thing. This is a really... Watch this elevator. I'm barely going to not die going down this elevator. Alright, so this area is weird. We need to kill these guys really quick. Somehow. How am I going to kill these guys really quick? So welcome to Cleric Flechette usage. Sounds like a million sad puppies.
It's the best noise in any game ever.
Yeah, the puppy howl.
Yeah, I love listening to Centaur's pain state.
Getting a whiff of that butt hash.
Oh shit, too dank.
Come on. I need to get rid of these guys because otherwise they're gonna slow things down when we get to the later part. See, this is why I like just picking Fighter. Fighter would have been done with this like 30 seconds ago.
Why does
Alright.
fighter break through their shield?
No, but he kills him in like 3 swings. Whereas I gotta wait with my tiny attacks that deal no damage, and every time I hit, there's a chance that they bring their shield up. Anyway, this part. Ugh. So you gotta get in there. The entire room crushes, and you gotta actually put yourself into one of these pillar areas. And then when it comes back up, it's in these special areas that then the pillars come down, and then you grab the goodies in them.
You know, it might defeat the purpose of the enemies, but I think it would have been cool if you did enough damage to their shield, you could just like guard crush them and just like make them just destroy their shield. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or I was thinking like, if you use like a disc of repulsion on like the centaur when the shield is up, you just blast away the shield.
Oh god.
That'd be cool too.
We're not doing
Oh, there we go.
But yes, that can happen very easily.
Do you have to get to a different pillar each time?
Well, for what I'm doing, I need to also grab a silver key, and I'm pretty sure it's this one. And we'll just skip that and grab things. But yes, that's a pretty cool area. Again, I like these. I like what's going on with a lot of these rooms.
Yeah, it's really concept driven. I like it.
Yeah.
And you see that throughout the entire hub, which is what makes it so unique and just kind of fresh in its special, unique way. So
The
and then we get this
frustrating thing. The frustrating thing about like
One hub? How many hubs is this?
This is a single hub. This is just the first map to get started on the hub, basically. You can actually go to the hub map the moment you start this area, but in order to begin progression on the hub, we have to finish this area. All of these maps are kind of self-contained within each other, but they cause progression to happen, which then leads you to kind of a different level and back and forth, and it really does go all over the place. So this area, this took me forever to figure it out, but it's pretty cool. So on this side, I guess I'm actually going to flaunt the puzzle here. We need to get this item right here, right over here, and there's no way to get to it. All the ceilings and stuff have been taken out. Just messing with you. So what you have to do, because there's so little structural support in that area, the objective is to push these pillars. Come on. Oh god. I just want to do this.
MDK them.
Yeah. Where's my button for that? Is it this button?
Yeah, they just vanish. The match guys just
mouse
vanish.
4. There we go.
They just disappear.
Yeah,
the
well, that's
match guys
how
just
the
disappear.
corpses work. But you need to actually knock those pillars so that this falls down and breaks them.
Huh.
Wow.
Unfortunately, the effect doesn't show up in GZ Doom very well, but the pillars do actually move enough so you can kind of see that things break. It's really cool. But it's also confusing as hell, and it took me like 15 minutes of searching around it.
Yeah, I mean, I was about to say, like, did it have like any kind of hint that you were supposed to do that?
Nope, but all of these areas tend to be self-contained, so you know that it has to be there somewhere.
See, this is I think the pitfall of design-wise. This is always going to be the pitfall of the ones that have a lot of ideas usually lack in the map design department. Especially the ones that are just like, oh, I have a new tool, oh, I want to make something with it. And it works to varying effectiveness because it's usually missing that one little thing that would tie everything together. At least that's just, you know, that's just my main critique for a lot of stuff that's like of this nature.
Having a lot of isolated concepts, but like no real good way to tie them together in like a cohesive kind of way.
Pretty much, or like the map setting is just like the layout of the map is just so it leads you to the next set piece.
Yeah.
Right.
I must have missed. You're supposed to just pick up the Heart of Despair at that point, but somehow it didn't show up, even though I literally tested this today to make sure that I would get that far. But so at this point, we're in the hub map, and I'll show it off. And I'll show off a little bit of one of the other levels, but we need to keep moving at a brisk pace. But this is where you place down the Heart of Despair.
That's Sherlock, man. Just add all the...
Is that it?
Yeah,
You
Sherlock
got
gives
it.
you all
Sherlock.
puzzle items. Yeah.
So now we get that. The effects. I love that little effect. It actually lags vanilla.
I like
And this
the
is-
moving stars.
I think there's a problem with like the latest versions of GZ Doom and the skies.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
it
yeah.
fucks up skies so bad now. Whoa.
Oh, that's not an intended effect.
I mean, like
Well,
it's
the
supposed to have
rotating
skies scrolling, the stars scrolling across, but it's like not all the, it's not all of the sky. It looks like.
Yeah.
Oh. I like the
Oh.
bugged version.
Oh, DP Judas, you got something to fix.
So now that that is
DP Judas is who's working on Zdoom now?
Yeah.
so now we can kind of start to crap. And again, these elevators almost kill you. Because if you fall enough in Hexen, you will just die.
Yeah.
But this is where the bulk of progression happens. Once you finish a side area, you kind of complete a task here, which is kind of nice, as opposed to you just solved 1/9 of the puzzle. You're actually bringing items to the hub to have it do something that feels like progression. But yeah, this is fun. Oh, come on. Which one is it? It's got to be one of these. You need to get clock gears for all of these, but oh, come on. Maybe it's because I haven't finished it. Yeah. When you finish an area and you try to, oh, how does it work? But basically, it pushes you back and it says that you got your hands caught in the gears. And it's like it pinched your fingers. It's kind of clever. There's a lot of little things like that. But so you have to find gears and open that. And that's basically how that continues. And when you finish an area, it says the seal is broken on this mare Caldera. And that lets you continue on. I should have looked up the puke numbers so I could just kind of skip that part. But let's go quickly to a level. I have
Puke
beaten
being
all of
the
this.
Puke being the cheat code that ran a script in Hexen
Right, yes.
for
This place is-
debugging purposes.
Actually,
Oh,
the
is
fun
that
bit
where that
here.
came from?
Yeah, it's a cheat code, Puke, and then 2 numbers. So you can only really debug up to script 99.
Yeah.
Puke 69, alright.
But yeah, here,
Oh,
if
The
you go on
worst
the garden,
evening ever.
if you go on the garden here, off the shrubbery.
God damn, there's a lot of stuff.
that's pretty ridiculous.
This will almost certainly kill you. It also removes the stairs, so you can't do anything about it. So you do a bunch of progression, and I can't. We have to move quickly, but so we're basically just showing off the types of major macro progression that goes on. Will this guy
You put
start?
the fighter there?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good. He's moving. So you fight the fighter. Yada yada. We'll just use Ghost Penis on him,
Ghost penis.
and he'll also throw a bunch of stuff at him. Just get away from him.
Oh boy, that's a lot of fire.
And then that. This guy loves his
Voyeur.
effects. But
Okay.
That's actually
I
pretty
have
cool.
the idea about
Yeah.
it would be that it'd be like a zombie man, and then you'd shoot it, and then when it died, it just spewed out every item in the game at you, including every projectile. So just shotgun, BFG, all that, just flying out of it, and then every single type of projectile and everything.
Tech
Yeah.
pillars and stuff too.
Yeah, it's every item in the game. Yeah.
Now, if you guys, watching at home there, were wondering, oh man, ever since Z-Doom got created, oh shit, all the crazy shit people did and all the wacko nonsense. No. It started with Hexen, buddy.
These
All
doors
this
are being
crazy nonsense.
I think that might have broken the seal. Let me check real quick. Oh yeah, and you notice it's actually doing kind of a 3D floor type effect, where it has 2 separate areas.
Yeah. I didn't know that Hexen had portals.
It didn't. It would I think this was it would teleport you if you went
Yeah,
down.
silent teleporter.
Yeah, silent teleport.
What a portal is.
not the same.
With a portal, you can see through to the other side. That's the
Yeah.
difference. So that didn't work. Dang it! I wanted that to work.
I think, is it because you have the item?
Oh god, see, and these aren't even the right maps.
No.
They're not called that at all.
Yeah, like I think map 1 is the only one, and then it's like Caldera is like far off in the.
Yeah, the main problem is that I didn't follow progression, and I'm sure that's important on these. Because I think normally you press this switch, and then that's kind of what happens. Or is it? Okay, now I remember where it is. Gotta run around randomly. Normally you get the York skull, but the real issue here is get that all the machinery in working order, and then you go. This level, I mean, these levels are pretty interesting, and you even do some backtracking in them and stuff. So we grab this, and that's what a seal is broken. And that's the gear we actually use. So let's run over there real quick, just to show it off. And this is more of kind of a Hub 1 type inspiration. Down we go! And yeah, right there is actually where we caused that to happen. So,
Yeah, that
let's
would
see if this
include
works.
a spawn.
Yeah, there we go. Pinch your fingers. And the noise it makes. All the pieces fling out. Ow! So this opened up. And this is kind of a cool area right here. This is where you start collecting the gems. Once you put in Heart of Disparal's core, it actually brought up that star chart, and then you got to start putting the gems in. So what we do here is we press this switch to start the gears moving, and then we put in the gear, which will start to cause this lava to flow by opening up the grate. Come on. I think. Oh wait, maybe it just shows up a little bit here.
Yeah.
Like so, and then we use this to cause it to flow into here. And we grab it, and there we go. And this will actually, I think, start. Yeah, this the metal here actually starts to hurt you a little bit. Now that it's like heated up. At least that's in certain areas. I'm not exactly sure. But then you finish off.
Convection in my Doom? No way.
And then you have to get 2 of these things shared and finished in order to collect another gem. So there's kind of more of that sense of progression going on.
That's cool.
No, where Caldera does not have, or whatever, Caldera does not have in terms of prettiness or like map design, really. It has in servicing a lot of cool ideas. And yeah, that's basically why people remember this one very much.
And I think there's a lot of good ideas here. They may not be like super refined, but as a step up from a tech demo, I think it is pretty dang cool. So, and it continues on, and you collect a bunch of gems, and more stuff happens, and you move in. But one thing, oh yeah, let's go back to that level really quick. I just wanted to show off one last bit, and what kind of really strikes out as what I remember from Caldera.
I like that the metal hurts you when there's lava flowing through it.
Oh yes, that's quite cool.
Yeah.
If you're really, really observant in these levels, absurdly so. This is the first of the ones that I ended up finding when I was playing through this. But you will find these special switches, right, like this. And you actually have to find them in the right order, but you have to find all of them, and if you do, it automatically warps you to the end of the hub.
Wow.
No strings attached. You don't have to finish any of the other progression. And so, basically, once you kind of finish the bases of each of the individual maps, or the side maps, you have all you need to kind of do that progression. Although you have to really run around and find these things in order to get to them. But as it turns out, I found them faster than I did the original progression of the map. So that's how I ended up kind of fighting Korax and stuff. But yeah, if like I pushed this right now, I think you can. But you do open it. I know you press that at some point. It might just be unpressable for the time being. But you get to like this side area, and yeah, these aren't even moving right now, so they're locked in. They're very carefully locked in to make sure that you can't cheat them. But you open up all these areas, and they kind of get you where you need to be so you can fight Korax. So it's kind of like a side, fun way. I happen to find it earlier than I did the actual progression, but somebody kind of going and playing through again might find it later, and it's just an alternate path to play through the game. And I think that's a really good way to make use of Hexen, is to just have these, not just having the hub maps and having them intertwined and connecting, but also just having these absolute non-linear paths.
Was it Mist that ended with like you had to choose between two books and both of them were bad endings, and like there was a secret third book you had to pick up to get a good ending?
Yep, that's how Mist goes. Yeah, you can actually beat the game in like 1.5 minutes if you know what you're doing.
Really?
Under a minute. Yeah, well, because to understand that secret ending, all you have to do is to punch out a specific password that you get and know and is locked in over the course of the game. But it's a really complicated one. Anyway, so that's Caldera. And now we're going to move on to something that was kind of inspired by Hexen mapping, which is called Assault on Tatanga.
Yeah, Tatanga being like the original name for the planet that Doom was supposed to take place on, before it was Mars.
So now we get this. And playing through, I played through a few of these Doom-inspired ones, and a lot of them really hammer in like a story.
That X-Files music.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really great.
This was interesting because it was like one of the very, very, very first hubs released when Z-Doom hit the scene, and you had all the Hexen fixins in it, and yeah. Oh, and also when Decorate was new, and the really shitty version of it, like before it was the Decorate we know today. Like you could make like new monsters and stuff in it, but it was still a little bit cryptic.
Oh yeah, that's
And this
great.
just plays out, and it just keeps playing out. Do I
Yeah,
even
you
have to
cannot-
save
I don't
for
think.
that?
I think you could
Sorry,
skip it.
I could push buttons.
The
but
power of Z-Doom!
Yeah.
nothing. There's a couple of them that are nice about it. What's that one? RTC 37, whatever. Lets you skip theirs. Although it doesn't let you skip the credits. The credits still kind of play over as you start. So here we are back in Doom again. Goal 1, deploy the antennae. Shut
I gotta
down.
I gotta tell you though, like most of the hub stuff really fits Hexen way more than Doom in a bunch of ways.
Oh yeah, absolutely, I agree.
Yeah.
Don't want to go in there right now. It hurts. A lot. There would be no way to get through that. So first we gotta find the antenna. And that just means going around, figuring out where to go, and there's no enemies here. I mean, this... I feel like this is taking the wrong... not the approach, but just kind of like the wrong ideas of what Hexen was kind of trying to work with in making its hub style and its puzzle progressions and things like that.
Apparently, Wooly Wool says Tatanga didn't actually use Decorate, it actually used Bex.
Oh wow.
Tatanga is one of those things where I actually know more about people just shitting on it than I do like anything actually about playing it.
Oh yeah, this did use Bex. Oh shit, that's right. It didn't even. I don't think Decorate existed yet.
Old school!
But yeah,
Bex being kind of an extended dehacked format. Cameras, yo, use them Z-Doom features.
top side. This is where I need to get to, basically. I think you can actually see the broken antenna.
Oh yeah, you gotta like raise that antenna, I think, if I remember correctly.
But how to get there is the question. Who even knows?
And yeah, the X-Files theme is just eternally playing here.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm supposed to be able to jump, but
No, you're supposed to be able to jump.
good old
Zedu,
platform.
man, they added jumping.
Yo,
Man,
yeah, Mini.
In researching this, Matt suggested to look into Serpent Resurrection. I spent like 10 minutes pushing barrels at the beginning. I shit you not.
It is crap.
No, well, it's something that definitely is not like if you're just an average Doom player that you're going to necessarily be interested in. But I can certainly see the charm in it, in having this wide open range. Power will be provided by a fusion. Oh God, I couldn't even read it fast enough. Come on. We build for the future.
Oh yeah, those are like the promotional story stuff, like in the middle there when you look at all the landscapes. That's great.
So I've never played this before. Do monsters come eventually, right?
Oh yeah, eventually, but like you have to find them in the other maps. This is just like the hub. This is like the main like docking bay to like all the rest of the other planets and stuff. Oh.
Is things happening? Is things happening?
Aligning antenna. Oh shit.
That fucking antenna. Holy shit.
I like how it's not completely centered on the.
It's not. I love that it's just the Duke 3D satellite just fucking scaled and like it doesn't even clip right.
Yeah, I can turn down sound a wee bit, but it's so good. I don't know why you'd want to. Okay.
No wonder.
Is it
this
like
thing's
somebody
having
whistling
so
into
many
your
problems.
ear? Is that it?
Story.
And yeah, this is how this goes. I mean, Hexen, you had Korax at the beginning of every hub kind of goading you on. But for the most part, you were doing stuff even if you were hopelessly lost. And when you get to stuff like, Tatanga and like RTC, and even things like Knee Deep in Z-Doom, you have these situations where you're just kind of watching a cutscene. Serpent Resurrection had like this 10-minute long boat ride at the beginning, and it's kind of interesting, but I just wanted to get to the action. Hexen doesn't get in the way of that. It's letting you try to solve these things, even if you're doing so in vain 90% of the time because you didn't see that one crevice in the wall. But that's kind of what Hexen means to me. And these don't quite fit it well enough. So, oh great, and we're good.
Also, was that a tiny space shuttle that you just
there we
looked
go.
at before you actually entered the cutscene?
It's like, yeah. Oh shit. Bam.
So now we're on the next level. And I mean, this doesn't actually play, I should be honest, doesn't quite play perfectly like a hub. You're not, as I recall, going back and forth a lot in these.
Oh, you're leaving? Why'd you leave? You had to wait for that guy to say shit.
Right, so
Or
you
computer,
can.
rather.
I know, they're talking over each other right now, too. That's the best thing. So you can actually go back to these levels, but rarely do you... It's like, really, the space shuttle, like, just because I decided to open a door, it just took off from the planet, and now it's
And then you get more X-Files.
I gotta say, man, like, I mean, at least this is kind of creative in its presentation.
It is. It is, but, okay, so I don't want to go there.
No,
I
don't
just gotta
go.
wait on this guy and read this blue text that I just can't see right now.
It's really
What
hard
is
to
this
read.
MIDI?
Oh, yeah. Everything's cool, see? You can go away now.
I'm so stealing this MIDI.
This is like an amateur filmmaker making their first shoestring budget movie or something.
Yeah.
Keep out of the computer room. Well, naturally, we have to go to the computer room now.
Hell yeah. Fuck the police, or computer rather.
Oh, every time. Gotta look at those cameras. I'm always used to just pressing a switch and then going away from it.
Yeah.
So. Oh man. Oh, dead guys. That's not good.
Whoops, power failure.
50. Oh wait, that said so.
This MIDI is sure something.
Dang it! I keep interrupting. Yeah, I probably should have gone through RTC, but it's similar, and I just kind of wanted to hit up an early example of Doom trying to mimic some of the hexenries.
Oh, so that colonel was named Colonel Minfit.
Yeah.
What you really should have gone through was episode 4 of DTST.
Oh,
Oh my god! Wow, that could have sufficed for. Well, it's not really hub. It's in the sense
Well, it's
that
like a
we-
Hub 5 style, basically. But
something
I mean,
to
it
kill
puts on no
final-
airs about it. Is the thing. It's just here's a bunch of portals. Go do your shit.
I don't think DTST puts on airs about anything,
Oh no, we had imps.
except for the blood of Phlegethon.
The blood of that the river?
No,
No,
that's something the final boss, like, you're fighting him, then he goes, the blood of Phlegethon, and then like the whole thing gets like flooded with blood. It's
like bloody and it hurts.
Gotta go to the armor. Oh yeah, look at this armory. It's full of arms.
Boxes.
Is that why they call it an armory?
Yes. And armor. I mean, I'm pretty sure it also had armor in it.
Now we go to trains where we can find trains
Oh shit, trains.
like
This
armor.
is just excellent level design.
Like I said, ideas.
I'm just gonna go here. Ugh. Oh, I can't go yet because I haven't
Why is it a
arbitrarily
gong
completed
sound?
these
Is that the
goals.
Shadow Warrior Kong?
I think it is.
It's a gong that's been around, I guess.
It sounds like the Shadow Warrior Kong. Are those like nuclear bombs? What are those other non-barrels with the triangles on them? What happens if you shoot them?
I don't know. Nothing.
What are they? They look like
It should just blow up the entire level.
Yeah. Die, Space Marine, question mark.
Didn't this go? Dang it. I gotta figure out what the heck I'm doing in this level. Can I press like mission objectives? No. Okay. That was an
No, you just
Who
gotta
is
wait out
who?
all this dialogue.
Who is who in this dialogue? Are we blue or is
No,
it-
no. The blue is the computer and the red is the colonel. I think we're mute.
Who's the colonel?
The guy killed everybody, I guess. And he looks like a ninja turtle. Like if you get all, like he looked kind of like.
Have we seen him yet?
No. He's like in like the last area.
We gotta see the Ninja Turtle guy before we this map. Or
Dang
this WAD.
And he uses a railgun.
What's up that lift? Why do you keep not going up that lift?
Because it just refuses. Oh, this one? Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess. I thought that just led back. Okay, my bad. Because it does not just lead back. Okay.
Oh no.
No, but
The
it was next to
computer's
it.
pissed
Oh
at you.
God, we just killed the computer. We killed
You
it.
killed my computer.
So now what? Just listen to more dialogue, I guess.
Oh man, God, it's like a webcomic. Holy shit. It's like all his fucking words.
Minfit.
Shut up.
What kind of name is Minfit?
Oh, what kind of name is?
You think you can
Memphis?
kick my ass?
Okay, go to the train station. All aboard. Can we go here now?
No, I think you go up that lift. That
Yeah.
Oh, maybe you don't. There was a lift that got access to like the lights stuff.
So now we're here, great. The nuclear plant.
What
What
the
is-
fuck are all those Hitler spheres?
What the?
That must
Those
be
are like
a-
that's a platform. I think you could jump up there.
Why
Is
are
it supposed to be those spheres?
Yeah, it is.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
there's just Hitler spheres floating in the air?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we gotta listen to more
words.
stuff going on. So that's the
words.
idea. I mean, we could like quickly just go to the last level.
Yeah.
This is not
I
the
think we've
last
seen
level?
either of this one.
I think
Who?
is it map 6? It's either
That's what I
6 or
tried.
5.
I thought there were 7 maps, but okay. Colony site.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is going well.
Yes.
Just gonna skip. Great. Skipping that.
It's the space marine.
What the fuck is that helicopter?
Are you kidding me? I just. Oh god.
Why would you ever use an exit door?
I just
Why would
see
you-
them. It's like
Stop
pressing a
it.
switch, you know.
Would you use it?
I think we just hit the epilogue or something.
Oh no, you since this is technically the first time that you're entering this map. Because
Oh,
you
God. Yeah,
did the map.
Just ID Clev 06 again.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
was that?
No, it wasn't anywhere. Just hit ID Clev 06.
Fair enough.
Ta-da.
And now
All
we
right.
did what we did earlier.
Now it's not like careful with your no clipping because you might like fuck up a trigger or two.
Yeah, just
No.
play through this level normally.
Just play.
I just want to see the fucking Ninja Turtle, okay?
Ninja Turtle.
Okay.
Yeah, he kind of looks like a fucked up Ninja Turtle cyborg. Oh, I know it's in like the Zdoom bestiary at some point.
Oh, you fucked it, mate.
How big is this? Not
It's
big
tiny.
at all. That's good. I agree. Quite so. But yeah,
Do you
we'll
go back in the water. Do you drown in that water? Oh, there's
Yeah.
zero. It's
I think it's
just
just a
zero
boom
water.
effect.
Yeah, there's zero water physics.
Come to
in that
Papa.
water. Okay. There you go. Now don't hit the exit door.
Yeah.
Don't go to the.
Oh, he's shooting at you.
Who? What, the space
helicopter.
shuttle?
I
The
still can't get
helicopter.
over that tiny space shuttle.
I can't get over this helicopter.
There's no helipad with that helicopter. That is disappointing.
That's astonishing for Doom.
Oh, I saw him.
Alright, we're just gonna IDQD to make sure I don't die.
Yeah.
There it is.
See, he looks like a
Fucking
Ninja
Ninja
Turtle.
Does he have a pirate hat on? No. Okay,
And
that's,
it's a railgun.
what the fuck?
Yeah, let's get a better
How have I
view.
never seen that used again?
I don't know. Oh, then you go up to get him and he's not there.
What am I
Why
looking
are
at?
the Doom spheres like?
I know, right?
Who decided that Hitler was a good platform?
There it is.
Oh, and you fight him in water, so I guess he is a Ninja Turtle.
Come on, get out there.
I mean,
Gotta see him.
he's supposed to just.
Go try and pick up one of the Hitler spheres.
You can only jump on them, I think.
Who decided that would be a platform? Like, that looks awful. That looks just utterly atrocious.
It was what you had to work with, man. So you turn
couldn't,
off
like-
the gravity, I think.
Don't question their crave decisions, man. You wouldn't get it.
Whee. So there we go. Here, finally got out.
Good job. That looks great. Candles, or you could just replace the sprite with something that looks more like a platform. That's just awful. Utterly atrocious.
Who made this again? Let's see.
Fucking Supersonic Doom had better 3D platforms.
Oh shit.
Oh god, what?
Sam Kettner made this.
To heck with you.
Heck
with
with
you.
you. Okay, good.
Oh, fiddlesticks.
We won.
Okay then.
Hooray.
That's
So that's-
a really.
That's Tatanga.
What's the epilogue? What's the epilogue? Real quick.
With a nauseating sideways yank, you are flung through the dimensional gate, leaving far behind the tainted soil of Tatanga. Will mankind ever recover that lost planet? You won't know. You'll be fighting your way through the next episode. Oh, man, that's-
Nauseating sideways yank.
So there's all the credits.
There's a second episode.
Oh,
of
1999. huh?
I don't think so.
Tatanga? Oh, what a.
Let me see if Sam Kettner made anything else.
Anyway, let's start moving on. We need to keep moving
Yeah.
to another Doom project.
Oh, he did make a bunch of
by
other
Team
things.
TNT. This one is Daedalus, Alien Defense.
Oh,
We'll look at it again, just kind of briefly. Look at it.
This is just Icarus too.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, it is, but
Ooh, look at these effects.
also, our boy Ty Halderman actually had a couple maps in the later parts of this.
Just gotta turn that.
Yo, I'm so immersed right now.
Yeah,
I
man. Check this shit out. It's like a movie.
This frame rate is astonishing.
Yep. This is actually this is like the view of what we're seeing. We're in a spaceship right now traveling.
It's like when you had a really bad computer and you were like loading it like some new PC game for the first time, and
It's
it's
like
just like
Myst,
the
right?
intro was laggy as hell.
It's like playing Myst.
Ooh.
Oh, but now it's suddenly smooth.
I guess because it's like panning around instead of like whatever else it was doing. Going
This is
for frames
probably
of
like-
animation.
It's probably like a camera texture. I think
Yeah.
like camera textures were a thing when this was. Oh. Oh boy.
Oh snap! A
Pew,
bunch
pew,
of weird
pew.
stuff popping out. Gotta get in there. Dude, nice. Killed a berry. Didn't even have to do anything. Great. Skip the intro. Great. So now this one plays. This one starts playing like that, although we do get to fight things a little bit faster, and it's got a little more of that to it. Also, this is a secret. It's a good secret.
This amount of green shit makes me uncomfortable. I don't have a good history with green shit and FPSs.
But yeah, again, we're getting into a territory of building this aesthetic and having absolutely no monster, no start of building that gameplay just yet. Just
Story
exploring.
heavy.
Yeah. And at least as far as the Doom experience goes, this is the exact opposite of what you tend to have in Doom. In Hexen, you might have a little bit of, I wouldn't call it world building, but just kind of environment building. And in later Doom mapping, you certainly have that as well. In the original Doom, you had some cool shots, but for the most part, it was just sticking to the action. But, you know, we get stuff like this. And it's like, where do I go?
Yeah, conveyance problem number one. Where the fuck am I, and how the fuck do I get out of this?
That's the secret. Oh, is it? Nope, not that. I know this one's
Is
pretty
it-
easy. I just can't.
Do you have to like
remember
jump
what
on
it is.
top of stuff?
No. Well, no. I just can't remember which one it is. There's just a door here, and you're done when you're done with that. But I can't for the life of me figure it out. Pretty sure you don't have to jump on these though, because I was just able to get to the level, but I can't even remember it because of how well this. Yeah, it's this. Right. Good. Great. So glad.
You didn't even get the shotgun. Good job.
Yeah, you missed it.
Where was it?
It was like on top of the
crate
boxes.
where you jumped. Don't go back for it.
Don't
Oh,
go back.
fine.
Just
fight with it.
IDFA. Fuck.
Cool effects, I guess. To engineering, and so now we're in engineering. Whoa! It's like Portal 2.
What the fuck is going on?
You can actually watch it on the auto map. You just kind of move a little bit.
It was kind of cool.
Eh.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
That was better than the Seizure Tunnel and New Doom Community Project 2.
Can't understand anything. We gotta recharge the translator. Translator is charged. Great. So now whenever we press things, aliens tell us what to do. That's great. Like this.
I don't have a problem with these types of maps, like the gameplay, this type of like atmospheric searching for shit gameplay. I just think that Doom does it really poorly, or at least this kind of stuff. Like Doom's not immersive enough for this specifically. Not that Doom can't have no monster maps that are immersive. There's a really good map in Panophobia, Hatophobia, whatever the one is that's not released. It's by the guy who made Alien Vendetta Map 21, and it's the only good map in it, or at least from the demo that I played. And it's a monsterless map. It's just like this island city. It's really fucking cool.
Did you mean map 20, not 21?
No, the guy who made it's by the guy who made Into the Caco's Nest or one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just thinking Mystery Hella because it's a lot more of that style almost.
You would think, but nope.
Ah, God. No, but I mean, if you want to see a much earlier example of this being done, dang it, then you can even look at like Aliens TC. I don't think the first level of that has any enemies in it whatsoever, and for the most part, there aren't that many enemies. But that plays, incredibly linearly and stuff, and it doesn't have any. Which is why we don't show it here, because it ain't no Hexen-style.
So this is by Team TNT, which means it was a collaborative effort. So I'm kind of like I played through a little bit of Daedalus. I don't think I ever finished it. Like I got through to like this area where it's like you're in this like reactor, and then you had to like get this suit that you had to use in order to like go into the core, but like something it was just like kind of hard to figure out what exactly I needed to do in order to make that shit happen.
It's getting destroyed. Holy crap. I guess I just don't have a lot of HP. We're just gonna get it.
Yeah. At some point, like there you should have like in the options a key for like objectives. I think Daedalus has it. Like I mean, you have to bind a key to go to customize controls. Daedalus interactive. Yes question, no question.
I could try this.
That's like the Strife stuff, but
Well, they might have used it. Or it didn't exist back then, actually. No,
yeah, Strife was definitely not a thing when this came out.
When did Strife come out?
Well, Strife came out in 1996, but I mean, like, its incorporation into Z-Doom came much later. Like, when I was in, like, college. So that was, like, about 2003, 4.
So go here. Maybe. No. Great. Well, why did you break the thing if you're not gonna let me go there? Dang it.
Atmosphere.
How about this? That's a button. Hell of a button.
It's an excellent button.
Ow. That would have killed me pretty hard. So we're in, like, Jeffrey's tubes, right? Is that what we're doing right now?
I guess
right
so.
The Jeffreys.
The travel tube is operational.
Oh. Well, they clearly are. These guys are just teleporting in. And yeah, I mean, this is how this goes. And occasionally there's some kind of gimmicky stuff. But it's attempting at an intuitive, objective-based, handling.
Oh, I gotta enable it, I guess. Then.
So you can watch it on the auto map. Whoa. So, yeah, and this just keeps happening. And, there's a few more enemies this time around. 28 instead of 35. Oh, wait, that's going backwards. And we're playing on ultra-violence. I don't even know if this has difficulty implemented. I don't know if you'd need it. Then again, that previous level kind of kicked my
Hey,
ass.
it's the Icarus theme.
I feel like something like this could really, it could really work in Doom. It's like the attempts, like most of the time, they're just really kind of like hokey like this, where it's just like has like really kind of like cheesy '90s, amateurish kind of vibe going on.
You gotta pick and choose what works well and what doesn't, and
Subtly different.
Go back to that nukage waste and go back underwater.
I can crouch.
Okay. I want to talk about one that you go into the green water and everything is fucking blue. And two, what the fuck is going on with that ceiling there?
There's like something going on.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, you know what? I bet you that was like a sector that wasn't tagged right, but you have to put the player up on it and then like instantly lower it so he falls. Like the players did not have like Z height.
That is loud.
That's loud.
Are you good, game? Oh man, I wish there was like a direct sound. I did the menu music.
You're not supposed to crouch in it, but when you fall into it, you go into the water as if you crouched. And that's how I noticed it was blue underneath the green water, and that's why I asked if we go back.
What even are those green slabs anyway?
I don't know. Slimer juice.
Doing stuff to it.
Is there anything to do here? Oh.
Not get crushed.
Pretty much. Oh, and we're back here. Great, we're back in the first level. Oh boy. But at least there's enemies this time, I guess. So yeah, again, this is, I mean, we're going back and we have oh wow, it's a Cacodemon. And you know, there's some backtracking stuff, but it's very light on the gameplay. And I guess, you know, Hexen's was a lot of point and shoot anyway, but you can try to mix it up a little bit. The weapons are sometimes fun enough to use in the first place. Doom is very much about, you know, visceral weapons that kill things nicely, and not weapons that just make cool, flashy effects that you just kind of enjoy by themselves. So it doesn't really fit Doom.
I feel like this is kind of like around the time where it's like if you give people like crazy tools, what will they make with it? And then you'll have the people that are just like, I could tell a better story with all these crazy cool things I can do. And, yeah. Sometimes this happens. Sometimes you just, wow, it doesn't kill you. Oh, do you have...
Well,
God
I'm God moded, that's wrong.
Yeah, that's
there I go. So, like, yeah. So, like, when you give people practically no limits, what do you make? And early on, we see a lot of like story-laden stuff.
Let's turn the sound a little back up. So now we're going to go back to Hexen.
People no limits.
And we're going to take a quick look at an often well-known title if you know Hexen stuff. It's called, we'll just random it, I guess. Wolfen.
Wolfen by Mouse, aka Little White Mouse, aka the Queen of Z-Doom. And rightfully so, because she did a bunch of crazy shit in Z-Doom. Mostly one-person stuff. But, like, you know, oh yeah, like, even up to and including monsters and whatever, because she did, like, simple modeling, and they kinda look okay, but it's mostly a lot of... Oh yeah, this is around the time when decorate was a thing, but it wasn't good. So you
It's
can
a
still
furry!
you can still create, like...
What's that
like,
werewolf
simple things.
Daggerfall.
That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
that's
yeah.
a Daggerfall werewolf.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, there's, like, some, like, ripped assets and whatever. But, this is finally kind of, like, a very hub-ish hub. Like, story and gameplay in, but... if there's one critique I always had about Mouse is that her map design was lacking.
Your mom's map design is lacking.
Oh, shit!
Yeah?
But it's a shit. No, I'm just looking at the textures, thinking like, okay, they put in new resources, but it still runs into the same problem that Hexen has a lot of, and that's just like, oh look, it's another swamp.
So around this time, Z-Doom supported Hexen itself, so... And mod music,
That's
oh boy.
some fucking great music you got going on right now. Does Eternity support mod music?
Gosh, it took me forever to find this.
Slaughterfish. One of those, I know where they're from. Also, I didn't realize that Hexen proper doesn't have underwater effects, does it?
Nope. No.
That's so funny.
Man, I feel so fast now. The fighter just moves so much faster than Doom Guy. It's ridiculous.
Also, did you mean the fish from Quake 1, Tarsman?
No, those aren't the fish from Quake 1.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're called the, I believe they're called the bone eels from Blood. They're not slaughterfish. Slaughterfish are from Quake 1.
No, slaughterfish are from
No, rotfish are from Quake 1.
Oh shit! Now I got exposed.
Yeah, you got exposed. I thought they were slaughterfish. I didn't realize they were bone eels from Quake. My bad. Or Blood, or whatever the fuck.
Boner.
I never played Blood.
I think you have to go along.
Wow,
with it.
dude.
I really haven't. Or actually, no, I played the shareware of Blood, I think. Is it Blood or Blood 2 where you start the game, like you wake up out of a grave and then you gotta
That's
pitch
Blood
forward?
1.
Yeah.
You would
That's
remember
I
Blood
live.
2 because that's the age of early 3D.
Okay.
Blood
I
2, The
live
Chosen.
again.
That's it, yeah, man, I remember that.
So did that do it?
Oh, you have to go across like the two bridges that was like around the center there, and
Well, I did. But
yeah. No, you didn't. Did you go?
Oh,
like-
right, there's-
no, you didn't go to the
There's
right.
a second bridge. That's right.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to have my Timanax yet? I don't know. No, not yet.
What the
not
hell
yet.
is that from?
I don't know.
Witch Haven?
It
No, no,
feels
no,
like a
Witch
Witch
Haven-
Haven enemy, but it's too wolfy.
It
I
looks
know-
even. Yeah, if it was Witch Haven, it would look like a claymation figure.
Yeah. I don't know. I know for a fact that Mouse started making her own like models, and they were very low poly. But I'm not sure that was one of them. Or it could be. I don't know. Fuck. She's a talented lady.
I need to play Witch Haven.
You don't. You could just. I could play it for like half an hour and you'd be good.
I've watched you play Witch Haven for half an hour.
These
Are
things.
you
Oh yeah,
thinking
I
about
should show some
sword-
of these off because Wolfen loves cinematic deaths.
Yeah.
So I'll have to remember to show that off.
This music is like...
Oh shit. We got ourselves a boss battle, I think.
The
You have to
Black
kill, like,
Stalker.
Oh, that's not the default. Oh, okay, good. The music's still doing it. That's great. This music sounds like some Blood Dragon shit, like
Yeah.
an 80s synthwave remix of Hexen. Like he went back in time, and now he's the only one who can stop the Deathkings.
I need to punch guys. I need to solve these hubs the only way I know how. By punching.
Violence. Don't I get it now? I thought I got Timon's Axe now. Well, whatever. I forget.
Timon
It takes
the
a long
Warthog or
time.
or is that Puma?
No, that's the Meerkat. Timon is the Meerkat.
Okay.
That's the Warthog.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we got a key. Actually, oh man, I guess I shouldn't waste it. I haven't saved it. I have the key, and now I can
could
use
just
this key.
save and then go stand.
Yeah,
on
I
it.
could, but I'm gonna do things stupid because I'm stupid. And then there's this Aeon mana. I never actually-
You have to find a key to like your Aeon ability. I forget
Oh
what
yeah, I
fighters
have
it
the
is.
key. I just never figured out how to do it.
Like each class has this
What is
like Aeon
Aeon?
ability.
You know, like that
Or
80s cartoon, Aeon Flux.
Yeah, no, but I mean, is that something that was added to this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was.
Like you have a special ability that you can activate, but it's different for each class. But I forget which one it is. You have to like bind a key to it in order to use it.
And there's some fun little effects. Oh, that's not open yet. Great. But oh, is it? No, okay, it is. There's no, it's not. Dang it! You keep passing me at every turn, Wolfen. Come on. Friggin'.
So it's called. It's called.
You know,
Wolfen.
the fighter
Wolfen.
punch really bothers me because like just
doesn't
that
use the
punch.
left arm.
No, but just how he's punching, like go punch a guy like that.
Yeah, the perspective
Yeah,
is
it's just-
a little.
Really oddly straight punch.
Yeah, it is.
I like his like incredibly bulging arm. Like it's just all veins.
Yeah, I got those veins popping out.
want to save over that. And then there's this special tool,
The blunderbuss.
blunderbuss.
I have no idea what it does because I don't think it does it even work in this version of Zdoom.
No, it doesn't.
Like it seems like a puzzle. It seems like a puzzle item, and I'm like, I'm not sure what it's supposed to do.
So the way that this hub works, it is basically intertwining. It's kind of like a loose hub 1, where you don't have to go constantly back and forth, but everything is kind of intertwined, including the original map. You might almost say that there isn't a hub map, and it's several maps that are all important on their own.
Well, here's something that I don't think I've ever seen with Hexen that I'm surprised nobody's done yet, is instead of like a central hub that you go out from, all the maps have like multiple entrances. Like you can go from one map to another map in like multiple different places.
Yeah.
Well, 7 portals. I mean, you basically the seventh portal is the exit, but each of the there's a pair for each of the 3 levels, and those take you to different spots. It's not.
But are they connected? I thought they're just different like areas in that same map. Like
Well-
I don't think you ever like go from one of those areas to the previous area you were in. Do you?
Well, you can. You can get there. They
you
can.
can't? Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't.
I mean,
know
that's
that.
part of why I think the first hub is cool. Even if it's not refined, as you were saying, it's kind of like they made that map first and then they didn't go back and polish it properly. But I really like what it's trying to accomplish, even if it failed at it. So, you know, good in concept, poor in execution. Where have I heard that before? Oh yeah, and then there's this.
I think you gotta.
So that's the clue, and I don't even. Can you read? Yeah, you can read it. But that's the clue to figuring out how to kind of get through here. And you got bells right here, and you got, as it turns out, you got to use
hands of the
this.
clock.
Yeah, the hands reach heaven and the bells sound. It's kind of a fun puzzle.
So you said it's at 12 o'clock.
Well, what
much.
happens is you can set the hour hand, and then the minute hand will just keep moving. And then when that aligns, you got to run over and hit both bells. But you also got to set up everything so you can actually do that, and it's pretty cool.
I think you have to find a gear because the minute hand doesn't work until you
Correct.
put the gear
That's
in.
correct. Yeah. I don't even know if the hour hand works until you get both of them.
Oh, it does. Yeah. Only it turns, and then it's like, what? The minute hand didn't turn, and then there's like a gearbox nearby. That's like empty.
I think there's a. I'm pretty sure the castle key is somewhere in this level. I mean, this is a nice little layout of just this broken little town
Yeah,
thing.
Some slopage going on here.
Oh yeah, now
Yeah,
okay. Where is it? I remember what it looks like. I need to find it. It's not here. But I guess I can show this one. So you're down here, and you can change the hour hand, but not the minute hand. Where is that? But yeah, these
Right.
levels basically progress. I think you go like 1, 2, 1, 3, like 2, 3, 1, 4, and stuff like that.
Was it you need the dragon key or the cape key? What the fuck
Castle
is
key
that red?
is what I need.
No. The red cape switch.
Oh, that's fire key. That's from Hub
That's fire
1.
key.
Oh, okay.
Which, incidentally, I think you get pick up going through an ice area. Okay, here it is.
Good.
And that's where you get the castle. Did I get it? I think I got it. It's supposed to be a castle. Well, whatever. We'll just lock
Is it on the roof? Go up the roof.
Nah,
Oh.
that's where it's supposed to be. I don't know where it went.
What's on the roof?
A fiddler.
Good. Go play fucking tiddly-poo with him.
Sounds like a day.
Get
I guess
out
there's
the
some cool
dying
sheds
roof.
up here. That's nice. Didn't. Oh yeah, you're right. What the heck? What? I guess maybe I was playing on a different difficulty setting because it was just in there when I did it. So I don't know.
Moving things around on you. I mean, like I noticed, like way back in like Hexen, like you like the original, you usually pick up your second weapon like in the main hub area of the 7 portals on
On the
normal,
easier
but-
difficulties. Yeah.
Yeah, but like the later difficulties. Oh, that's right. Zedum also can do like 16 direction sprites, not just
Yeah, that
8.
multi-angle share.
Yeah.
Gotta run through that because it was crushing.
Mold.
Okay, here we go. I'll just
When
save
the
it.
fuck does Zedum ever use that? I
I
don't think I've
saved over
ever seen
Viscerous.
16 dimension.
Yeah, it's right in this area, those chairs.
What?
Oh, you died!
Love it. Love it. Love it.
What the fuck is that?
So wait, the spike came from the ground and you got decapitated. Oh, because you got jibbed. Okay.
Yeah, and you can't even resurrect because your head is not connected.
Wow.
Hexen screwing things up.
Oh yeah, okay, look at the chairs. I want to see these 16-dimensional chairs.
Okay, hold on. Press something here first. We gotta do a thing here first.
Look at the goddamn chairs!
We'll get back to it.
I don't want you to fucking kill bone eels. I like bone eels. They're nice
Switch.
days.
So now we have the cave key, and I think the cave key is used back in the previous level. This will eventually rise. There we go. Okay, let's look at the chairs.
Oh, I guess they do have 16 dimensions to them.
Yeah, those are definitely modeled by her.
Okay, cool.
So now we have cave key, and we would go back. Can I, like, go... No, right. Change map? Oh, it's the same map. Yeah.
Nice.
There we go. So now we would go back to this one, we'd use the cave key, etc., etc. And so it progresses, and the way that the progression works, you're always going back to the first level, and the first level itself is both the beginning and the end, which is kind of neat. Like in Vanilla Hexen... Oh, I could have died there.
Ooh, you could have died.
In Vanilla Hexen, you could... Right, so... Oh, not cave. Swamp. Dang it, what's cave key? I don't remember cave key.
Wait, are you sure it doesn't work there?
No, I need
You should
swamp.
try it.
Well, I have locksmith, so it'll work anyway.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Or whatever. No, cave key is here. Yeah, I'm not going the right way. And then you get the cave key to get the other thing. But yeah, so this is how Wolfen plays, and it's cool, and I would recommend it. It's pretty quick, and you can find out what the heck Aeon Mana does, if it does anything.
It's different per class.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but the
Oh
what
yeah,
is it?
these guys.
The weird. Oh jeez. Oh yeah,
What
that's
the fuck
right.
is that thing?
That looks like a big ass serpent.
It takes like 20, 25 hits to kill.
It's a goddamn Loch Ness monster.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It wants 350.
Loch Ness monster!
It's about, is it 250 or 350?
I need about 350.
It's about 350.
Gotta do Club Med.
Baron fireballs.
And yeah, so this would take. So you get the idea of Wolfen, and like I said, it goes back and forth. We would use the cave key to get the swamp key. We would get the swamp key, and then I think we unlock one of the 4 seals on the first level, which will let us finish the hub. And then we, from there,
I just want to see a text message that says, "You've unlocked like 1/10 of the 1/32 needed to complete the puzzle."
Like that's the thing. Like friggin' like Mouse makes a whole bunch of cool stuff, but it's like they never quite fit. That's like it's always something.
It's like this music is excellent.
alright, so let's keep moving.
Needs a montage.
On to
Oh,
2010
boy.
now.
That's a
so
great,
we take,
great picture right there.
this
There
is a
we
pretty
go.
decent jump. We've jumped past the so-called sector detailing era now.
I'm sure there are like other stuff that's like this, but like I mean I think we're just playing through the ones people remember. Hopefully people remember this.
Well, I mean, if you saw episode 3
music.
of Evolution of the
Yeah.
WAD, then of course you would see it.
Yeah, should be fun there.
So this is Scourge of Viscerous. I had a save, and then Wolfen refused to keep the save on Wolfen, so I accidentally overwrote it.
Oh, weird.
Because I wanted to just skip this map because this is the intro map and it doesn't get into the hub.
It's a way better looking map than a bunch of the maps in this. So like I started making this.
Well, it's the winnowing hall, right?
Basically, called Journey. So like it's
This is Castlevania music.
yes it is. It's from Circle of the Moon.
The start of this song always makes me think like the Gilligan's Isle song is gonna start playing.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tell about a cleric that had a base and he smashed a bunch of ettins right in their dumb face.
Circle of the Moon, Worst of the Moon.
Yeah.
Right here, this part. It's actually also in oh, this is where you have like the grave that you can fall into, or is that a different map?
That's a different map. Oh wait, actually, the hub that I initially put in the list that I think we nixed it. It was like a 3-map hub. That is where I kind of lifted the idea from. Like I remember, like there was an open grave that you fell in. It was like, haha, this grave is your own, and you died.
That's so cool. I like that.
This is a hard. Yeah, this is a hard first map because you don't get any
hard.
weapons.
It's hard. Well, I mean,
But it's
cleric
nice
gets, like,
because
more
you're supposed to
flechettes.
use the flechettes. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, you know what? When I see every once in a while I see a video of somebody playing this on YouTube, and I get so frustrated when they don't use the artifacts, because I'm like, I put them there so you don't get your ass beat.
Of course, who would play cleric? I mean, it's objectively the worst class.
I beg your pardon, sir.
It is. It's the worst
I
part.
gave you more flechettes if you're the cleric.
Of course,
Because you have
I would
to
hope
fucking
so.
get-
Yeah.
Yeah. You had to have a fighting chance.
I think it's
So you
is it Undertale or yeah, it's Undertale. Undertale also has a song that reminds me of Gilligan's Isle's theme song. Like it has this one part where I just keep like imagining them going on a 5-hour cruise.
Ooh, cinematic.
Oh,
You can
shit.
die during this cinematic, and that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Or you can?
Yeah, I didn't make the player invulnerable through it.
Wow, what a scrub.
Actually when I made this map, it was around, I think like 2000. No, it was like 2006, and then the other maps were around like 2005 and 2004.
I just want to get to
So-
this part. This is getting to the hub.
Oh,
And of course,
yeah.
we saw this last time too, but this is important because this sets the mood for the whole hub itself. The
Yeah.
disciples of Viserys.
Oh boy.
Eye of fire, eye of disease, eye of physics, and
That's
eye
the
of
best.
death.
The best.
Physics.
Why did you pick physics, man? I mean,
I
you
was
were
gonna,
like,
like, say-
8 when you made this, so like
I was gonna-
this was post college, dude.
This is. Hey man, I'm not good at writing, so this is I was gonna say like of knowledge, and I'm like that's dumb. And because,
Yeah,
like,
physics is so much better.
look, well, like he invaded the library and used like magic and shit. So I was just like, what could it be? Like, I mean, I guess it could have just been of lightning. Fuck it, whatever. I don't care.
And yeah, text.
I,
World
fuck it,
building.
I don't care.
I
Yeah.
just don't have time for it. We got And this again, it kind of requires you to move around, and eventually you get to. I mean, I'll start doing it, but
Okay, so we talked a bit about conveyance earlier in this episode, and just making a hub is always a challenge of kind of like telling the player not to do, but not telling the player what to do, because you want them to figure things out and everything, and that's how they enjoy themselves. But like, you know, Hexen got like super cryptic a lot of times, so you have to like rely on a lot of like symbols and matching and stuff. Like I gave you the objective using words, and that's I think all that I give you using words really. Like anything that would be like a hint where you'd be like absolutely stumped. It's like at some point when you pick up like your first weapon piece in this, you have to like burn down some trees in order to get to it somehow, and then I tell you, like, I give you hints where, like, the other two pieces are, and you'd have to, like, kind of figure that out. So it's like, you don't want to reveal everything. You don't want you want to show more than tell, and it's always a problem when doing anything that requires this sort of type of game or gameplay or whatever.
And it is, and that's why Hexen, in starting it, just didn't do a very good job because it was pioneering it, and very rarely does pioneering go favorably.
Yep.
For to stand the test of time, especially. 1995 Hexen was the shit, but in 2015 it's. I would much rather have mages for shields for this part. But yeah, even just getting to the point where you can start the hub, it takes a while. And then once you get to the various hub levels, at
you have to
first,
collect the skull.
right, get the skull and then use the skull.
What is Yorick's skull used for in vanilla, Hexen?
It's a beheaded statue.
Where is it? It's Forsaken Outpost. That's right.
Yeah, it's in like one of the maps off of the Gibbet, I think.
Where did that?
I thought it was in Gibbet.
Oh, I think the skull itself is in Gibbet, but then like it's used in a different map.
No, yeah, you're right. Right, it's not Forsaken Outpost. There's a complete statue of Yorick in Forsaken Outpost.
Yeah.
But yeah,
once you have
Gibbet,
it-
you have to do it.
Yeah, but you have the skull, so it's nearby where you have to use it.
I'm just because I'm trying to avoid things at the same time. Not that one. Where the balls do I go with it?
You may have. See, this is always the problem. Conveyance. It'll be fairly obvious when you find it.
I mean, is
Like
it
there's
in this
very
area?
few places you can go.
Right. Yeah. So I guess I'll just backtrack a wee bit. Who knows? I'm pretty sure it's not there though. Maybe it's somewhere around here.
It's not hidden. I don't do that to the player.
Oh, I
That's
want
the other
this,
thing.
but I can't because
You have nothing to burn them down with.
not yet anyway. Everybody does have something they can burn something down with, so
Yeah.
that works. Where the heck? Where the heck? I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not over there. I guess I
Are
could
all
just
that
go
are
up.
all the hub maps in Viscerith self-contained though?
No.
One of them is, and then
Yeah, only
the
one of
others
them
aren't.
is.
So it's it's mixing it up, which is a bit interesting. Yeah, it's definitely not.
Like I wanted to like maybe throw the player a bone for one of the maps.
Oh,
like,
God,
it's like
now
you
I
can complete
remember.
it fully.
Gosh. Why did I not remember this? Dumb. I went there first. Oh my god, killing these things with the cleric is such a pain. A wall has low aired in the altar room. Altar room? Here? I guess here. Because there was like a big ol' thing that is what you call an altar.
Originally, this was going to be for vanilla Hexen, but at some point I was like, oh man, Zedo makes a couple of things way easier.
I imagine. Same reason I think Rock King, when he made Elf, gets pissed. He wanted he just wanted the chicken barrel. He just wanted it, but he couldn't do it in vanilla. So-
Yeah, it was originally going to be vanilla, but then I was just like, you know what? There's really
What
no
the
point.
fuck
Like,
is
how many
the
people?
chicken barrel?
Oh, you don't know the
It-
chicken barrel? Oh,
You
man.
It's
missed the
basically
chicken
just like
barrels?
an Easter egg where there's just like a few barrels that have chickens in it, and when you destroy the barrel, a bunch of chickens pop out.
Oh, okay.
So I think at this point... Oh yeah, I got a key. That's right. So I can do a key thing. Ah, every time. And this is, I mean, this is much of how the progression kind of stays in Viserys. Oh. But it does require you to go between maps, and it eventually...
Only there was a class that like had lightning hands and fire hands.
Well, just make
But it
your
does
own
have fire
custom-
hands. He has exploding flechettes.
That's true.
Jazz hands.
His jazz hands.
So I just got the planet, and now I can put the planet over a waterfall. How do I get over there? I don't even know if that's required. Oh, right, I can just use the planet. Because there was a start chart, and you do the start. The objective in this one is to finish all of these.
I don't know why some of the mana is like up there. I think it's like a collision
blame
problem
Xenu.
with later versions of GZ.
That's all I say. So now we can go to any of them. All of the 4 portals are available to us. All of fire, disease, death, and physics
And physics, yes.
is available. So I'll just pick this one.
Oh, this is the one you can complete fully.
Well, and yeah, this is cool. I mean, this is Necropolis style graveyard. Pretty neat.
Like Hexen does have like limited resources, so I still kind of like wanted to make the maps be distinct. Because like if anything looks samey, you're just gonna get lost. It's like, well, am I supposed to be in that map or this map? Which map is this one? But I mean, that's like the obvious. Like always
disease,
landmark the
right?
maps. Yeah. Oh no, this is.
Probably death, given all the graveyards.
Yes.
I believe swamp is disease.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You have death and disease.
Yep.
Well, like the horseman.
yeah.
He almost got that right.
Swamp ass.
Oh, so it's physics, death, disease, and what?
Fire.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I was like, I didn't want to say that because I thought it was wrong because it just is like, oh, and then fire, like.
Hey man, I'm
whatever.
cliche. I'm cliche as fuck, man.
And it's not even that being cliche. It's just like, oh, and then that happened.
Let's just talk about how bad Matt's writing is. God.
I got better, kind of.
Man, what is going on with this game?
It's all over the place. Yeah, disc of repulsion, these assholes.
Oh,
I gave you like a buttload of them.
yeah, I'm sure you did.
So
But that's the
wait,
problem
okay,
with
out of
Hexen.
Here.
You just get used to not using them.
Here's the problem with you.
I'm not sure how it would be good, because I have my inventory set up in a decent way. Even in vanilla, I use the Z and X keys to switch between them, and then the control key to use. So it's pretty fluid. It's pretty easy to use. But even then, half the time I forget, because I'm just thinking,
It's just centaurs, man. Fucking centaurs ruin everything.
much. Do I need another clock here? There it is. Oh great, they're back again. Now this is kind of neat to have to navigate through when you're not just trying to. I think that's it. And now something is available to me. Maybe not. Do I need 4 gears?
No, only 2.
Oh. So what's the third thingy?
Well, there was something blocked off someplace.
Probably. And there's that door. And then there's this thing. Ta-da! And there's only so much you can explore. Oh, it's a bell, great. Oh ho ho! And I can even check the auto map to see where exactly the camera is.
Uh-huh.
And I believe this takes me to exactly what I need. So pretty simple. When you have to backtrack a little bit, mostly it's through keys. There's really no, you press the switch and then it said, stairs have risen on the 7 portals or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's a great sky. Is that skybox from Hexen?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
It's a really good skybox.
I like
it. I like with the blue. I think it jives really fucking well.
Yeah.
A good use of the horizon texture line. Yeah.
I forget how to get that, but I believe it involves going from the other side. There's a whole other area of this map that I didn't even go to yet. But now that I have the gem, key, planet, I don't know, I can make my way back. But when I do, there's going to be a surprise waiting for me at the end. Oh, great. I still don't know where I'm going. That just looked right. It's the other direction.
Peak dime navigation.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. I guess, yeah, you don't even... It's not in it's not an extreme side. It's not the far side of the dinner table. It's just off to the side. And then we go here. And then yada yada. And then bammo! We gotta fight the guy from Tatanga.
Yeah, there's that laugh again.
But used a lot more artfully. So yeah, this guy uses ghosts and stuff. He would kick my butt if I wasn't Satan.
I think you have to kind of like, he stops shooting the ghost if you duck behind something.
Okay.
He makes guys.
Yeah, and occasionally he'll reflect and stuff. So all of them do that at times.
So originally it was going to be some like really crappy Archvile guys that just come in and it's like the same ones every single time, but like this was a billion times better. And they drop a Mystic Gambit Incant, which is like, you know, a good co-op item, but also does like one different thing for each class. I think the Cleric, it heals you and others.
Yep.
For the Warrior, it like gives everybody armor, and then for the Mage, it gives everybody mana.
So there we go, and then we use the planet that we get, and we got more spawns. And that's how that goes. And the other three, there's a little bit of intertwining progression, but it goes much the same way.
Yeah.
And they're pretty short and self-contained maps, and then you finally get to the boss. It's Korax-like, whatever. So I like this one. I think it plays well. I think. I don't remember being too... I wasn't vanilla lost in this map set, which is a good thing.
Yeah, that was what I aimed for. But I still included like a spoiler-free walkthrough with the zip file, in case he really got stuck.
Yeah, I
There's,
remember
like,
getting
unique,
lost a
like-
lot in the... was it... I think it was the one that has the fire, which is actually the ice one. That also has fire in it.
Yeah, Sleet and Cinder.
That one's definitely the most common one to get through. But it's also really cool. It's got a number of fun, just individual puzzles in it and stuff. So anyway, that's Viscerus. Now let's finish up with a pretty strong finale, finisher-upper, which is called Shadows of Chronos. I hope you're still with us, Kaiser, because we've been at it for a while.
Yeah, I'm here.
Excellent, because now we're on your map.
Sounds like he rushed back into the room.
I've always been here. I have a habit of being very quiet.
So this one plays, I guess one of the best ways I would describe it is it's more like a Hub 1 of Hexen done right. Because it's intertwining everything, but it's doing so in a way that is far more organic compared to the original.
Yeah, I kind of liked how Hexen starts you off with like a introduction level before starting the actual hub. So I figured, it's a great idea. So I kind of just borrowed it. And there were some other things that I thought, it would have been useful to have like little hieroglyphs that you can read to give out like little hints and whatnot.
I like it.
And it works. It's subtle. Well. It's effective.
Yeah, I didn't want to overdo it. I know Hexen 2 did that in several places, but yeah, I kind of figured, you know, it would help.
Door locked from the other side. Thank you for telling me that, and so I don't just keep trying in vain, hoping to eventually press a switch that does it. I mean, little things like that, you know, very important. Very important. And I mean, these don't get in the way. They're like little pointers that don't say, "Hey, for 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you about this thing." That's not
And
riffing on mats. That's more riffing on like Tatanga and stuff.
And then you have to stay there while some cinematic
I know the
starts
door.
playing.
Gosh, I know that. It's like the door is just right around. Yeah, it's that. Gosh, I'm searching for that. I mean, it's there. I know it's there. I know it's obvious. I just keep running in circles around everything but that. And that's something that's just gonna happen no matter what. This is also a pretty hard start. In fact, I could show... I'll show a little more of this, but I have a save for the next level, because I just wanted to get to the hub part. But this is a
This
good
is the
one.
last one we're doing, right?
Yeah, we're on the finale. It's a good finale. You do have to kill a few of these guys.
So this works in vanilla Hexen, if I know.
Yeah, I played it
correctly.
vanilla.
Yeah,
first.
it's vanilla.
That's impressive.
I think that is impressive.
There was
Oh, yeah.
actually several times where I've hit the Visplane limit, and surprisingly, I actually didn't hit it in that level with all the overgrown mines. It was actually this level.
Wow. It does look fairly complex. So I think like Hexen's Visplane limit is 160 or 192.
It's 160.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's... Here, I'll just show it.
But yeah, this level is probably the most scripted. I kind of went overboard with it, and then later on in the other levels, I tried to keep it just simple and straightforward. But but this level, I was kind of just experimenting.
And then we get to the hub proper, which starts us off in a very... Oh, what's that first place called in Hexen 2? What's that?
Edinburgh.
Yeah, sure, Edinburgh, whatever.
Edinburgh.
Edinburgh, that's what I said, yeah, Edinburgh. Starts off with Edinburgh.
But yeah, we got the hieroglyphics here.
Yeah, and I basically just kept. I tried to preserve the original formula of what Hexen did, but try to add some additional things that could have in places that could have been improved, like for example the switch hunting and stuff like that. I just wanted to make it more
Accessible.
Yeah, in a way where you know what you're trying to do, what your goals are.
Right. So I mean, like this.
Unbayance.
I clearly need to find a blue gem, or at least if you've played Hexen the slightest bit, you know you need to find one. So.
Yeah, I mean, eventually it still ends up becoming, you know, you have to fetch this, return to that,
The
and
switch.
then, you know, yeah, but
I don't know if you can really prevent that though, to an extent.
This is cool.
I feel though the using items is way better than just using switches.
oh yeah,
And because like when you collect something, it's like, where does this go? This probably unlocks something. Rather than I flip the switch, I wonder what it does. But if you do a lot of that switch things, it's weird. It's weird that the thing to take with you, it works a lot better than just I flipped the switch. I wonder what that did.
It's not really that weird, because think about like Doom and like keys and how that functions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, yeah, keys are tangible. Also, they're a sign of progress, because like, if you have seen the doors that they match up with, then it's like, oh, I have the thing that goes there. And like with the switch, it's like, well, I hope that opened the door that I saw earlier. And if it doesn't, it's like, well, shit, I guess I'm lost. You could like usually match items to a thing.
in somewhat more intuitive manners.
Yeah.
Like, I got this flame mask. Where does it go? Well, it goes into the
Probably where
spot.
flame
It looks like
masks
a
go.
flame mask spot.
Yeah.
Is it this? No. It's a magically
That already
sealed
has
door.
it.
But
Yeah.
it involves the flame masks somehow. It's one of these. Let's put in one.
Yeah, it was kind of confusing a little bit, but eventually each mask that you put in, it basically lowers a door with that marking, and I was trying to find like better ways to make that a little bit more obvious, but yeah, it was actually kind of tricky to making that not so convoluted.
Is that why you put the hieroglyphic hint in there?
Every
seal's potential flame mask?
Yeah, that was kind of like one of the last things that I did before I was done with this WAD was, I maybe if I just threw in some more hints, maybe it would be a little bit more helpful, but I don't know.
Yeah, telling should be the last resort after showing.
Yeah, I was trying to use the level as much as possible to like tell the story, or just serve as a guide on what's going on and what you're supposed to do.
It's good. It's good.
Nope.
Oh, what are the other ones? There's a lot of good ones. But yeah, and then there's also the secret, which is far and away the best part of this. Thought there was something.
I thought there
here,
was
too.
something here too.
But why don't
Yeah,
you tell the
sometimes-
story about what the secret map is for this?
I believe they call that environmental storytelling. This is
Yeah, I actually try to do a little bit of that. Like in that one area that you were just in, where that guy, where you saw the hieroglyphs saying, I thought there was something here too. It was basically a guy who was trying to make his way through this level, and he just got lost and he just died.
Right, but it has a double meaning as well. That's the best part.
Yeah.
yeah.
The Dark Souls of Hexen.
Yeah.
So, I'd like to play more of this. I'd like to have played more of a lot of them, but it does. Yeah, I mean, it's still
it's a lot.
basically Hexen, and showing off the fact that these play like Hexen was kind of the point. And just, in fact, this level is kind of reminiscent of one of the Deathkings levels in Hub 1, where you have numerous flame masks, but it's handled in a very different way that feels a lot less forced. So, and I might not even necessarily be able to finish this level right now. I might just collect something and then use it in another area later. I'll need the swamp key at some point, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, usually most of the levels are based around a major puzzle that you have to complete. Like in the overgrown vine level, it's based around a temple where you have to place two of those gems to progress. And same thing with this level, it's based around those flame masks, which opens up more parts of the level.
Right, and it's something that the player feels like they're progressing in. It's not just a switch that solves a ninth of a puzzle,
Like cryptic messages.
Right. So, like I said, this feels like a Hub 1 done right, basically. Because all the levels are really super intertwining with each other, but you never feel like you're completely lost. When I was playing this, I think the only time I was really lost is because I was in a level where I knew I had to do something and I couldn't quite figure out how to reach it. But other than that, I was basically going in a way that was plenty progressive. Although here I seem lost.
I didn't want to try anything completely new, or I didn't want to try something that Hexen wasn't really designed for. So I basically just stuck with the formula and tried to do what I can to improve on those existing things. And I thought it'd be probably better to build a vanilla style hub while just addressing issues that the original game had. So it was just going with stuff that worked, and then going with stuff that could have been improved.
That was basically my approach for Viscerus. And then I'm doing something in Z-Doom, throw something new in there.
Right. Yeah, so where's that secret level?
Oh, you kind of are. Yeah, there it is.
Beautiful
Jesus.
secret level. So why don't you explain the how this works and why it's the same?
So yeah, in every level, including the very first level, there are these corpses, and basically each one has a line diff trigger right next to them. So you have to press use on every corpse, and every time you press use, it'll make like a corpse sound to indicate that you pressed it. So in every level, you have to find these things and then press use, and then once you press use on all of the corpses, then the entrance to that level opens up in the main hub.
Nice. And here I just destroyed the corpses.
Yeah, and the level title too. Map name.
It's very obscured, and I didn't really intend on anyone to find it. It was just something I just did just for the heck of it.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, but I mean, so if you like this map and you want the ultimate challenge, then try to get to this secret map. So anyway, so I guess that will conclude. I guess let's go quickly. Just final thoughts regarding how Hexen does stuff. And does it feel like Hexen needs to be the one to do it, or could we see Doom mapping? Because, trying to bring it back into Doom mapping. Is this the kind of thing that we should see in Doom mapping? Is it worth exploring more? So I guess I'll just go the same way we started with introductions. Matt.
My thoughts are, well, when we see the progression through most of the hubs that we remember over the, I think it's a little distracting when you keep punching.
Sorry.
Sorry. Anyways.
Disney.
Yeah. So anyways. Yeah. Wait. Where the fuck was I? Oh yeah. So with the hubs we've seen, we've
Those are really cool windows.
yeah.
From Hexen too.
So what we've seen so far with hubs, we've seen throughout the years, there was that initial experimental era where people were like, oh crap, I have a way better tool with which to make what I want to make, and you'll find that the ones that are heavy on ideas were lacking in maps, but it started to stray from kind of that quintessential Hexen gameplay in a couple places, and then we saw what happens in Doom when you have the same types of additional stuff given to map designers, and now that they have the capability, they still have to kind of experiment and see what works and what doesn't. So it feels like the progression here is there is that slow process of, well, why is this enjoyable? What do people like from it? And it turns out it's you shouldn't stray too far from the formula, but it doesn't mean that that's all that's going to be successful. So I guess at the end of the day, you kind of have to be more critical, or have that kind of critical thinking where it's well, this worked, but why? And what could I take that worked in this series or this like environment and add to the other environment that will still feel familiar yet new. So I don't know. At the end of the day, it's just I think we'll never ever hit that perfect sweet spot, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't stop trying.
Okay, good. Thank you. Rock King, what are your thoughts? You haven't really looked into these a lot, but just having seen what you've seen today, what would you?
Wait, I think I used double negative in that last one. Is it?
No.
Whatever.
Stop trying.
I'm sure he can
You shouldn't
figure.
Stop trying. Keep doing things. Sorry. Continue.
I think if somebody really did it right, like did it a certain way, like maybe it could work okay with Doom. But I feel like for the most part, Doom is best left as it is right now, with just like linear level progression and no hubs, no going back to levels. But the exception is, if you're gonna do like hubs and stuff like that, I feel like you shouldn't do that with regular old Doom, but you should do that with something that's like heavily modified Doom, or even like to the point where it's like almost like a new game, kind of like, you know, Focus Island or something like that. Like with that type of Doom mod, like it works really well having like a hub format, because it's like it's barely even Doom like as it is. So I kind of feel like for the most part, Doom, like I would say just sticking to regular levels is probably like best suited for the game.
All right, Turnsman, what would you say then?
Sure, why the fuck not? I mean, I've already made the point that, to me, it isn't really distinct from something like Tricks and Traps, or Alien Vendetta Map 20, or Ancient Aliens Map 16, which is probably the most analogous to how Hexen does it with the UFO and the distinct, you go to the ice planet, then you go to the fire planet, then you go to the purple alien whatever planet. Like, that's basically a Hexen hub right there. Granted, it doesn't have the puzzle elements to it, but you know, I could see somebody throwing in some backtracking and still making that work fine. I like Mechadon maps. It's kind of a similar principle in terms of like, you just are let loose in this pretty non-linear massive place and you slowly like wind through it, unlocking stuff. So I don't see why there'd be a reason why you couldn't make something like Hexen in Doom and make it good. Now, I don't think Tatanga or Daedalus or the stuff that has been done is particularly good, because I think it tries to focus too much on the hub element and the storytelling element, and not the whole level design aspect of it, which is the most important part. But with good level design, especially with something like Eternity or Z-Doom, where you get a lot of like stuff to play around with, and even in vanilla Doom, because again, like Alien Vendetta Map 20 is a really atmospheric journey map, and that's basically constantly unlocking new stuff, wondering what each switch did, backtracking a lot. That's, you know, it's all one theme, but it is, you know, a Hexen puzzle map.
All right,
So
good.
I see no reason why it can't work.
Okay, yeah. So, and Kaiser, how would you think, having built one of these, do you think you could do the same in Doom? Do you think it fits appropriately?
Actually, my thoughts are the same as Rock King's. I mean, hubs are basically built for games with atmosphere and exploring, and for something like that in Doom, it just doesn't fit. I mean, Doom is a very action-packed type of game, and it doesn't fit with exploring. You know, I guess it doesn't work with. It doesn't work with hubs, because hubs, in my opinion, they're more designed for just exploring and visiting new environments. But in Doom, it's all about just, you know, shooting stuff and moving on to the next level. And for something, I mean, unless you're working on a mod that changes a lot of the design elements of the game, then yeah, hubs could definitely work. But having hubs work with vanilla Doom, it just won't work.
All right, and thank you. My own final thoughts. I guess I am somewhat susceptible to the unique charm of just Hexen, the way it's fashioned as it is. But I would, and there are certain cases, like, you know, maybe looking at Eternal Doom as an example of just situations where you have this attempt at crazy progression in a more adventure style in the Doom format, and that's, you know, as early as like 90. It's late 90s for Eternal Doom.
97 is
97. And you know, people thought it was at least cool at the time. Maybe 20 years now, they're saying the same things that they said about Hexen. But I think the idea of trying to refine the concept is certainly an interesting one. Whether or not it'll ever really achieve the same ideal that you get out of Hexen, maybe not. There's too much of a stigma for Doom to be action and for Hexen to be more on the, you know, exploratory side. But I mean, they come up with a lot of resource packs these days. And with, you know, Ancient Aliens, you can certainly get that same feel in a Doom-like atmosphere.
Well, I don't think that exploration and adventure are necessarily, you know, at odds with fast action gameplay.
And no, they're not.
I think the gameplay's bad in Deus Vult 2, but especially those later maps are insanely adventurous maps, to the point where, you know, throw a Stargate hub in there and it's a hub map. Like, that's the main thing where when somebody says it can't be done in Doom, I mean, it's just like combine a couple maps and you have a hub map. Now the problem is when people try and make everything super atmospheric in Doom, fine, all right, you can't make Hexen in Doom, and you shouldn't. Hexen should be Hexen, Doom should be Doom, but the concept of Hexen's progression, I don't see any way you couldn't implement that as long as you were moderately a good mapper.
Right, and that's what I'd like to search for more situations where you have that. And maybe people, when they realize that they're making these kinds of things, will feel like they can try to expand and make things out of Hexen, or, you know, more Hexen styled. So yeah, that's kind of what I would say wraps up episode 5 of Evolution of the WAD. Thank you for watching. And, you know, we're probably going to go back to Doom next episode, I'm sure. Hexen and Heretic and Strife and things like that will be far and few between, but I do believe that they're important topics. So thanks again, and have a good rest of whatever you do. So take care.